Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. I'm your host, Jem. Let's cue the intro.
Know how I'm here, and it's you that I want and need. You feel your heartbeat. You feel somewhere you're looking good. You feel your heartbeat. You feel somewhere you're looking good.
Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV and welcome to the Chelsea debate show, the third Chelsea debate show. One that I know a lot of you guys have been messaging me on Twitter asking me to debate. We also know I've also brought in someone that's what do we say? The Danish Maldini defender in Carefree Lewis, the man that you see where Blues Fans TV's got his own page. You've seen him. I ain't got to intro him. He's been about well enough. But Lewis, how you doing, my bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Glad to be on. It's really glad to be on. I'm happy for this discussion as well because I know it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, thanks for having me on, bro.
Honestly, thanks for obviously giving your time as well. Just going to quickly go through some of these chats because there's 14, 15 people here already. Please smash the like button, people. Let's try and get to 50 likes as quickly as possible, please. Archive. Danny Boy says, waiting for the leader of the Archive, Lewis, to turn up. Well, he's here, and he's here to debate the Krusty the Clown. So we will get into that.
I was wondering how long it would take for you to drop that.
Well, I was going to call him. What was I going to call him earlier? I was going to call him the Danish Titus Bramble.
Yeah, I've heard that one coming around a couple times as well. Agendas will run. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be a good show, says Chris. Big up to Forever Football DRFC. Cannot wait. Different team to debate about. Yeah, he supports Doncaster, so it's nice to have a Doncaster fan in the house.
Geez. Yeah, respect.
Jake McAteer, Roman just gave the approve for getting Haaland this summer. I've heard a lot of talk about that. I mean, we don't want to talk about it too much, but Lewis, do you think, in short words, Chelsea can land Haaland in the summer?
If we have the balls for it, we can go for it. I've heard rumours that Tuchel's being offered another war chest, which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because we're Chelsea at this point. Like, it's not even being arrogant. We throw money around like this. It's just Chelsea, innit? But we can do it, and it makes sense. And especially with the fact that his buyout clause it triggers next season, right?
Yes,
yeah, triggers next season.
It's not this season.
It makes sense to go this season now, and especially with the fact that a lot of the other big clubs in Europe are still struggling to make money and still make profit through this season because of the pandemic and everything.
It's true. It's true. And to be honest, I don't think he's going to go this season. I think he'll stay. I actually think he's going to stay at Dortmund for one more season, like you said, and then go. People forget that Haaland's still very young.
Be more Sancho, in my opinion. Because I really think we can get Haaland. If we put the money down for it and say, yeah, because if they don't get rid of him this season, he's guaranteed to go next season because someone will trigger a 62 million buyout clause for Haaland, especially with another 18 months of development under his belt. So it makes sense for us to just go now and say, here's 100 million, here's 120 million. Or you could even throw another attacker in there. Like I've personally said, anyone other than Hudson-Odoi or Havertz, if they want as part of the deal, it is what it is. Any of the other forwards, I don't care too much about. Their quality, but if Haaland's on the line, like, I want Haaland.
If you could have the choice of who do you think Chelsea need more?
Of who?
Out of the two, Sancho and Haaland. Who do you think Chelsea need more out of the two?
Haaland, because we need someone clinical. That's the one thing we lacked. And he fits the same profile of like animal, like the sort of guy that bullies defenders, like Diego Costa, like Didier Drogba. His play, he literally just looks Chelsea. If you really want to be like tribal about it, he's a Chelsea player. I want him, man. He would suit our club so well. And plus, the amount of chances that we make and that we don't put in the back of the net. Yeah, this guy gobbles up nearly every chance. Granted, the numbers might be down a little bit if he joined us in the first season because transition and everything. Cool. I still back him to bag goals because he is that clinical, and he'll get used to Premier League quickly enough anyway because he's aggressive.
Do you think Werner and Haaland? I mean, this is not what we're meant to be talking about. Do you think Werner and Haaland can play together in the same team? Because a lot of people say, well, Werner will be dropped. I don't think so. I think they can play. I think Werner can play as a second striker off him, to be honest. But
I think Haaland's link up play is like really underrated, to be honest.
Yeah,
So there is the chance that it could work. I mean, obviously it's a lot of speculation, but I don't see why not, because we always say Werner's at his best when he has someone to feed off. If he can feed off Erling Haaland that way, that'll be perfect. The same way Erling Haaland's also going to be the one who prefers to try and take those chances himself. So it's a bit of a sticky one, because you'd have to ask Haaland to be more selfish, to be more selfless. And
selfish. Yeah,
yeah,
selfless. Yeah.
so
And
it's a bit
that's.
of a sticky one. So I don't know, to be honest.
Well, the
But
thing is,
that's up to Tuchel.
there's a lot of people that say that we need wingers. Like Christian Pulisic is always injured. Ziyech is not in form. Callum Hudson-Odoi is the only out-and-out winger that's in form. People think Sancho is what we need. We're lacking creativity. I hear that side of it as well. I think I agree with you in terms of the goals. I would choose Haaland over Sancho, but I do get why we would still look for a winger, just in terms of the creativity aspect of our team. But anyway, moving on. We're here to debate Christensen. So let's get into it. I want you guys as the viewers to also get involved. Yeah, tell us what you feel about what we're going to talk about now. If you agree, disagree, I've got some stats that we're going to throw in a bit later on. Also going to drop the link into the chat as well a bit later for you guys to come in and have your say. Please smash the like button. The first thing you need to do. Please subscribe if you're new here as well. Yeah, and please go and add Lewis if you haven't added Lewis as well. You know where to find him at Carefree Lewis G on Twitter. Right. Let's talk about the positives, shall we, of Krusty the Clown. What is it that you think he brings to Chelsea, in your eyes, that that makes him a good defender or needed within our team, shall I say?
Composure. Really good under pressure, to be honest. I can already tell you about his technical ability and how good he is on the ball, but I don't need to speak too much on that.
Yeah.
You already know that I push this Christensen thing. Half of the reason why I do it is because I think the agenda on him is so forced. I feel like a lot of people really overhype his negatives. And if I say that, I think it's most of the fan base, to be honest, especially around the start of the season. And he's genuinely not as bad as people make him out to be. And that's the main thing. Like, everyone will say, I hype him up like he's one of the best defenders in the league. I've said, in my opinion, like, if we play as a back two, right? He's a great squad player. He's a great player to have. And to be honest, it's a case of preference. He's probably better than Kurt Zuma if you choose based on preference. Like, I think aerial ability and in terms of strength and physical ability, I think Zuma definitely outmatches him. And especially when it comes to recovery tackles. But I think technically Christensen's still better than him. But it's a case of preference between the two of them. When it comes to Rudiger, I think he's a lot less rash than Rudiger is. But same way, I'm not going to criticize him either, because I've said I didn't rate Rudiger, but the last 5 or 6 games that he's had, he's really turned a new leaf in my eyes. And I respect him and I rate his ability a lot more now. And I think he's a pretty decent player as well. So there can be a debate to be had with Rudiger too, but I still rate Christensen's technical ability over him as well. I think, to be honest, only thing Rudiger would really have over Christensen is speed, in my opinion. But it's not to criticize Rudiger.
He's not slow, though, is he?
I still think
he's not slow.
No, Rudiger's apparently one of the fastest in the team. Yeah. Apparently. I can't really recognize any times I've seen it, but he's apparently one of the fastest in the team. So that's something he'll offer that Christensen doesn't. Yeah. I'd say aerial ability, but I still say since Kurt Zuma's been dropped out the side, we've lost our aerial threat. And that means that Rudiger hasn't come in and replaced it. Christensen, since he's come in, he wins the majority of his aerial duels nearly every single game he's played.
He's just the corners, isn't he? I ain't going to get into the negatives yet, but man, the guy's played, I think 65 odd games, appearances in the Premier League
also,
for Chelsea.
This one as well. Why didn't Chelsea finish 5th? This is genuinely just if you take stats and you didn't watch a single game between both of the seasons. Andreas Christensen got brought into the Chelsea side after David Luiz and Conte fell out. David Luiz coming off his best season in a Chelsea shirt. Nobody noticed the difference for 4 months because Andreas Christensen was outperforming himself every single game until the Barcelona match. Chelsea finished 5th. It wasn't because Christensen was in the back three. It's because we had deadwood like Bakayoko, Drinkwater, Morata, Zappacosta, Moses. Are we going to just put on Christensen? This is what I mean. What do you want to see? Why I start overhyping Christensen when I have agendas like this?
Yeah, I hear that. And Velvishwan's a Liverpool fan, so he can't really talk much, to be honest, at the moment with everything going on in his team. But
No,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was a Chelsea fan because there was someone
No.
on Monster's show a few days ago who said the exact same thing, and I was like, "What?" I
No,
was like,
it's not.
"Oh, but we won the league last season, and Christensen didn't play a game." Yeah, mate, he was on loan at Dortmund at Mönchengladbach. What are you on about?
Yeah, I mean, look, people keep asking me where's Ads. Is he well? Yeah, he did have to go hospital today.
Oh shit!
He had to have a quick checkup on that. He's good. He's good. He's good. He's just getting on with things. He's at home chilling now. I've spoken to him just before we went live as well. So just to let you all know, he is all good.
No, good to hear that at least.
Positives. Okay. Krusty, the positives. Come on, think, Jem. Think of what could be positive about it. All right, look, I'm going to be honest, right? He's distribution in terms of moving the ball from defense into attack is very good. His pass succession rates are very, very good. He doesn't usually give the ball away too much. I'm starting to struggle. As he's got pace. All right, look, he's got pace. He can keep up with some of the fastest strikers in the league easily on a 1-to-1 race. He can and has in the past put in great performances for Chelsea. Performances where I've looked at him and I've gone, wow, like, is he the real deal?
And consistently,
But
which is what a lot of people say he isn't.
is he though, Louis? I don't want to get into the negatives. I
understand.
keep switching into negatives, but has he been consistent enough in his 65 or 68 odd games in the league at Chelsea? I don't think. I think. Look, we're going to get to it in a bit, the negatives, but for me, I expected more from him. In my eyes, I expected a little bit more from him. It's not that he can't do that moving forward, because this, Tuchel coming in, him playing in the back three suits him. You play him in the back four, no, doesn't work. I just don't think he's a good player in a back four. I think he's a very system-driven player.
I think he's good in a back four. It's just you have to take circumstances of the last 4 years. And the one thing I will say about Christensen, if we are also going to end up going into negatives, is he is a confidence player. Like, I'll say if he has, I'll use the Barca game as an example. This is literally Christensen. He had a brilliant 4 months up until the Barcelona game. He even played well in the Barcelona game, if we're being honest. Then he has that howler for the Messi goal. Then he has a howler in the United game, the next one, and he gets bullied by Lukaku all match. I think he was also involved in the build-up in the next game for the City match as well. And then it was just a slow recovery trying to get him back. But that's the thing. He's a confidence player. And then 17-18, Sarri just butchered his confidence.
But we don't.
I like Sarri. He's not a good man manager. We have to be honest about it.
So,
and there's
no, he wasn't.
Do
you not? To get the best out of him, and this is the issue I have with it. To get the best out of him, you have to play someone next to him that's a leader. So what you're saying is he's not a leader. He's not a born leader. Someone that will take control and win us games. Like when Chelsea in the back of the day had that spine from John Terry to Lampard to Drogba.
I still think it's too early to say with him because he's only 23 years old. I'm not going to ask for him to be a leader at that age.
I just expected more from him, and it might just.
But that's also because he's been brought into the side very early as well.
Yeah. Look, he's you. All right, let's go to the negatives because I keep thinking into it anyway. The positives I get. To finish off on the positives, he has the potential to become a very good defender. The thing that I feel like he needs to do now under Tuchel is cement his position, which means hold it, and be consistent in his performances. Now, if he can do that from now to the end of the season and he becomes a starter, because for me, this is the thing, Lewis, I think as soon as Thiago Silva's fit, he comes out. I think because he's in his position. You're not taking Rudiger out and you're not playing Christensen off the left and you're not taking Aspie off because Aspie at the moment is just too consistent in his performances in my eyes, and he's a better player than Christensen. Even though Christensen's younger, still got a bit of time, I just don't see.
I think there can be a debate with Azpilicueta. There can be a debate with Rudiger. Silva walks back into the lineup as soon as he's fit, and I can respect that. I'm not going to debate Thiago Silva over Christensen. The other two, I mean, who's to say he can't play on the other side? There's no reason why not to, and he's been just as consistent as the other two, if not better.
Like, it's for me, Zuma. When Zuma plays in that back three, he plays in the middle. You can't play him off the right or the left. I just don't think it suits him. He needs players to not support him, but I feel like he's better enabled in terms of being able to position himself better. And if you're playing the back three, he's better being able to position himself rather than have to play on the right. Because when he's on the right and the left, he gets dragged out of position. When he's in the centre, he can not do as much, but he's in control of everything that comes into the box more so. And I think one of his strengths is that, in my eyes. And if you play him off the right or the left, I don't think you'll get the best out of him in a back three. And this is why I don't think it's a tough one. I don't know. Look, for me, he's a good player. He's just not. I just don't think we can win a league with him, bro. If you want my honest opinion, I do not think we can win a league with Christensen in the team. And maybe
if he's playing like this with his first stretch of games consistently back in the Chelsea squad in ages, I don't see any reason why not if we're looking a year or two into the future. Like, this is heavy speculation, but someone tell me why not right now. And it's not like which one of us will take us to the title right now. I'm not saying he'll take us to the title.
No, he's not. But
drag us right now. But with another year or two, the way he's playing right now, to say that he wouldn't, I mean, I think that's stretching it.
How long has he played for Chelsea? How many seasons has he played for Chelsea before he was at in Germany? It was 2.
In the first team.
Yeah. How long has he been at Chelsea in the first team and played? How many seasons?
He was here 14-15, but I don't think he played a lot.
He didn't play though, did he? He was on the bench.
Nah,
remember that?
Barely played. He was just around.
He started playing
Gladbach
when Sarri come.
Nah, Conte's second season. It was after the David Luiz and Conte spat after we lost 3-0 to Roma. Then Christensen came in and just took his spot. And he was playing brilliantly week in and week out. Yeah. Like United, I think, was our next game, and that was the first game we put Christensen in. We won 1-0.
Yeah.
He actually had a decent stretch of games after that.
He's got a lot to still prove. For me, he's not the worst defender. He's not. I make it sound like he's not good. He has got some good abilities. Like I said, he's passing out. The way he reads the plays very good as well. He reads the play very well. He can be commanded in the box. Maybe we do need to give him a bit more time. I just don't think that Chelsea. I just think Chelsea are going to buy a centre back, because when Thiago Silva goes, they're going to buy a proper leader. They're going to buy someone that's going to come in and he's going to lead the back four. It's just, in my eyes, where does Christensen fit in that if you've still got Rudiger there, Zuma there, potentially Tomori? For me, Tomori, I would have rather heard Tomori
ain't coming back.
Yeah, if he comes back. I don't think he will, but he's doing. Have you seen how he's doing bits in Milan at the moment?
Yeah,
have you seen
he's doing bits in Milan, but that's why he ain't coming back. Maldini's gone and co-signed him. Like, it's done. It's done. That's why I'm not thinking about it. I'm calm for a debate about Tomori over Christensen, and Tomori's quality, but he ain't. I can't debate about someone who ain't going to be a Chelsea player no more.
Do you not feel that he's, like I just said earlier, do you not feel that he's better in a back three than he is a back four? Do you think he's the formation has to suit him to get the best out of him, is what I'm trying to say?
I think he's definitely better in a back three, but I wouldn't say he's awful in the back four either. Like, he's had bad games, but same way, like most of those bad games were last season. Everybody had bad games last season. If anything, everyone was blaming Frank Lampard because he put 22 different defensive lines in 41 games. I think that's what the stat was. And everyone was saying that was a big reason for why we were conceding so many goals, because we never had a set back four. So if anyone wants to blame it, it might have been the manager. It might have been the tactics. It might have been the system. But Christensen had great games that season as well. No one speaks about the Manchester City game where he dropped a potential man the match performance. I get he had bad games as well. The West Ham away performance.
But is it another Jorginho situation? Is it another? And I say this about Jorginho as well. Is it we think we see more bad than good with him? In many ways, like, is that what's probably clouding our eyes? And maybe, like you said, it ain't always fault. Maybe it's the team's fault, but because he was in that team, we just see it as it was his fault because we lost by 3 goals, 3-1 or 4-1 or whatever it was. You know what I mean? We will get to the stats because the stats are.
That's what I think it is, and it's genuinely moments. Like, I've already said, Christensen, I think a lot of the reason why he got this stick from the start of the season onwards was because of the red card against Liverpool. No one says that he had a good game against Brighton before that. He had a good game in the first half against Liverpool before that. Then he just got sent off. And yeah, half the reason why we lost that game. It is what it is. Big mistake from him.
Matthew says,
West Brom came in and he was our best centre-back that game as well. No one hounds Thiago Silva for that slip against West Brom because we know his quality. We know his quality, exactly.
We come back in that game
we
as
know
well.
Christensen's quality as well. But we dropped this BS because of the red card against Liverpool. I guarantee as well, Kurt Zouma, I've said this so many times, Kurt Zouma is having one of his best seasons in a Chelsea shirt. But if Lo Celso had better decision-making in the final third in the 91st minute, there'd be a massive question mark over his ability this season, even bigger than the one on him right now. But it's moments. Lo Celso fucked it up.
Yeah.
So no one speaks about it.
I hear that. Matthew says, I'm sorry, Lewis, but Rudiger is our best left centre-back in a free at a back, and Aspie is our best right centre-back, back free win the EPL in back free, bro. I don't know what he's trying to say at the end there, if you can read that clearer than me, but...
I get what he's saying, but
yeah.
We've also had Rudiger for the longest at left centre-back and Aspie for the longest at right centre-back. I could easily say Christensen's the best in the middle at centre-back as a result of that.
It's a good question,
the last few games as example.
If Christensen and Zouma were sold... If Christensen and Zouma was sold and there was a window to spend the combined 40 million from Zouma selling, because this is the reported price tag, and between 35 to 45 million for Christensen, how would you spend? Clear and obvious, we would go and buy. Look, you know what it is at the moment? I think that the issue we've got is that there's not a high level quality of defender out there, even in Europe. I'm not even just talking about in the Premier League. I'm talking about across Europe. You've got top quality young defenders up and coming, Upamecano, Koundé. You can spend a bit of money and go and get Jimenez from Atletico if you want, or you can go look at AC Milan and look at Ramioli, for example. Like, there's not. Other than VVD, and I know he's injured as well, there's not that top, like back 10 years ago, Lewis, right? When the John Terrys were around, you had Vidic, you had Carvalho, you had Puyol, just Cellini, all these you had so many top quality blimmin' defenders that you go out and you could spend a bit of money and get. If we sold these two defenders, who are we going to get to come in? Who can be of that level? And that's the issue that I've got at the moment, because Upamecano for me is suspect. He's a good defender, but he's not, for me, someone that's going to come in and be the new VVD.
He's good, but he'd need a leader next to him as well. So it'd kind of negate the purpose, because it'd be like, yeah, it's another young up-and-coming defender. We have another 4 of those. We need a leader, someone who can play consistently and be able to carry the other defenders next to him. That's where the issue would be. I still wouldn't say no to Upamecano because he's still going to be a quality option, but we have quality defenders with potential anyway. It's just we also need to be calm on a few of them. Everyone will talk about Malang Sarr when he comes back. He's barely playing for Porto. He's going to need another loan deal as a minimum. Mbuyamba's going to be in the development squad. Only one we could realistically think of bringing back is Mark Gay, and even then, do you rush him or do you loan him to a Premier League club next? What do you do? Because low-key, it's also about thinking of his development. You could keep him as an option, but then you also halve his game time just straight up before the season's even started. Yeah. So you could, low-key would rather loan Gay at a Premier League club for another season. Let him ball out there, then we know he's serious. Like, we know he's got quality already. But you need him to keep having that game time to get confident and get better.
You said something just now. You said we have got quality defenders. Are these defenders good enough to get us to a title in your eyes? Like, looking at what we've currently got at the moment, or do you think we do need to look outside and get rid of maybe 2 of them at least?
Here's the thing. I can't take the last 18 months into account because, with all due respect to him, it was under Frank Lampard. Like, I respect the first season as well, but we had massive defensive problems the entirety of that season. Huge cap attacks also taken into account, but we also saw a lot of mistakes in our defensive shape too. So I don't even know if I can take that into account. Maurizio Sarri, we had individual howlers all over the place, but we still kept the 3rd highest clean sheets in the league that season. So you really ask me, I don't know. Because
it's hard, isn't it?
Like Rudiger's a player that I won't even try sugarcoat it. I did not rate this guy until the Southampton game. because that combined with his performance after the own goal and his performances over the last 3 weeks, I was like, you know what? He's better than I give him credit for. He's good. He's good. I'll be honest about it. Christensen, I've already spoken to you. I think he's quality, and if you give him confidence, there's a quality player in there. And he's just been struggling with confidence between the Sarri era until about the start of this season, to be honest, because he's been in and out of the team throughout that time. And it's the first time he's had a consistent bit of minutes. Who else have I said? Zuma's questionable because he's such a cheat code aerially. But it's because he's so suspect on the ball. And his recovery tackles are great, but half the time it's because he's making up for an error he's made. So I don't really... But his long passes are good. It's just... I don't know. If anything, the question mark's more around... Maybe Zuma, but I don't know, because start of the season, we're all saying Zuma was one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah, but there's also talks about Zuma actually getting
but that's the thing, like, I'm looking at all 4 of these centre-backs. They're not really that bad.
But they're not.
Like, I still wouldn't mind another centre-back. Like, if he's good. If I want another centre-back, he's like guaranteed to start straight up. I don't want anyone that could be mixing around with the other 3. He has to be a starter straight up, someone with quality. But the rest of the centre-backs we have, they're not that bad. Like, if we really deep it, like, even if we try to look at negative, they ain't that bad for defenders. It's just, I think the system that we've been around for the last season and a half has just been shit.
But they're not exactly, they're not that bad, but they're not exactly great. They're not, for me, like I said, I don't think, it's one of them ones where they've all still got potential. Rudiger, for me, out of all of them, I actually think Christensen's the weakest in my eyes. If you ask me to pull it out,
Christensen's also the youngest.
He's the youngest. I would have said, obviously, forgetting Thiago Silva, I would have said Zuma, Rudiger, Christensen. And if I had Tomori there still, I'd have put Tomori before Rudiger. So it'd have been Zuma, Tomori, Rudiger.
For me, it's...
But Rudiger...
Thiago
maybe
Silva.
Rudiger would be last, actually.
Now, for me, it's Thiago Silva. For a preference choice, it's Zuma or Christensen. It all depends on what you prefer in your centre-back. Then Rudiger. That's the way I see it. And again, not to discredit Rudiger, I just rate Christensen over him. I think he's better.
This Kimpembe, right? He played with Thiago Silva at PSG, right? Now, obviously, he hasn't got the Thiago Silva next to him, which is the natural leader. I was talking to a PSG fan, and he said that Kimpembe is a bit like Kurt Zuma. Remember when Kurt Zuma first came to Chelsea, and I think it was under Mourinho, and he was playing him next to John Terry, and he had that really good season. It was because he was playing next to a leader. The way you get the best out of Kurt Zuma is playing him next to a leader. Thiago Silva comes in this season. He's had one of probably his best season since then under Chelsea. Why? Because he's next to someone that's a leader. Like, I think that's the same issue with Kimpembe. I know Will is a massive fan of him as well. He thinks he's a level or two better than the current defenders that we've got at the moment. I haven't seen enough of him, but when I have watched him, I've looked at him and thought, yeah, he's decent, but he reminds me of Zuma. He still makes a mistake. His passing is not the greatest. He's strong physically with the ball, winning the ball back. But would he improve our squad in terms of what we've got at the moment? Not massively in my eyes. But moving on to, let's go on to negatives. Obviously, I feel like we've just slipped into it anyway. Obviously, what is it that you think what do you think with him is his main negative issues of him? For me, I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's his ball watching. I think he lacks concentration in certain areas. I feel like he can be easily pushed off the ball. I feel like he hasn't got any upper strength. So if he's playing against a striker that's a bit bigger than him, he'll get bullied. For me, it kills me the most.
Recently, but go on.
I feel like it's his lack of concentration. That's the big key for me. He lacks concentration in areas of the game, or in positions where it could either concede us a goal, or they will have a shot on target and say it would happen. And it's just, don't get me wrong, he's not meant to be Superman. I'm not saying he's meant to be and be this defender that can't make mistakes, because all defenders make mistakes. But I just feel like he forever ball watches, especially when if you've got the opposition running down the wing and they whip that ball in hard, he watches the ball. He's never watching what's behind him or what's in front of him. And he does, and I've seen him do it a number of times in a Chelsea shirt. And we've conceded goals because of it, bro, as well. And that's one of the things that kills me with Christensen.
Anytime
He's not
recently.
aware. He's not aware of his surroundings. It's hard for me to say anything now because when Tuchel's come in, he hasn't. But when we talk about when he was playing in a back four next to a Kurt Zouma or a Rudiger, he was suspect. He was suspect, especially from, like I said, crossing in corners, whatever. He always seemed to just lack a bit of concentration or get caught at the back post by someone
I'm
on
sure
a
he
header and
usually
it'll
wins the
turn into a goal.
majority of his aerial duels. That's why I don't understand that argument.
But does he?
The
Does he?
Christensen's weak argument. 1 second, sorry. Christensen argument for strength. I think it's more a balance thing with him. Like, I think he can get caught off balance sometimes. If anything, that's where it's maybe a little bit too much. That's where I believe it. But I don't think he's weak because I've seen him plenty of times shielding the ball excellently and beating 2 or 3 players out of it.
He doesn't look like it though. His frame doesn't look.
That's the thing. It's a body language thing. With that idea, I can say Kai Havertz don't look like he cares half the time he plays for us.
Yeah, but look at Kante, for example. He's great around getting around the pitch, yeah, but he can easily get shifted. Look at Jorginho. He can easily get shifted off the ball. He never holds the ball up very well because of his frame and his size. Like, for me,
anything, I think Jorginho's got a bit stronger recently, but I understood the argument last season.
Yeah, he's been pumping. But for me, it does sit in my head. I remember the Barcelona game in the 80th minute when he picks the ball up. And instead of just hoofing it, he's decided to play a pass across the defense, if you remember, and it was a bad pass. And I think Aspie slid to try and get it in front of Iniesta and knocked it around him. It's landed to Messi and bang, goal. Yeah, it's them moments where I say lack of concentration, lack of decision.
You see that
might be the word.
Moments,
decision making.
It's moments. That's the thing, and I understand. Christensen's had his fair share of moments. But that's why I also take luck into account because I'm telling you as well, Kurt Zouma's had moments. Sometimes he's had moments and teams haven't capitalized on it. Same thing with Rudiger. He's had moments. Sometimes they haven't capitalized on it. Christensen, I can't lie. People capitalize on it a lot. That's where I get you on that as well. But it's moments. In the game, throughout the game, haven't really seen that many bad 90-minute performances from him this season. This season, definitely. This season, I still stand by the fact he's only had one big mistake this season, and it's been the red card. Other than that, no one can tell me a mistake that he's had this season because there isn't one, but people have had this massive agenda on him. Lampard, I understand. 1920, there was mistakes there. I get that. I also believe his confidence was in the tank that season as well. And you could easily see that in the way he was playing. So I get that. I understand. And also the system was just terrible defensively that season. And we know that and the stats show it as well. But there's also surrounding reasons. Everything needs context taken into it before you find the real answer. That's why it's so easy to just drop a stat or something and it can make something look terrible, but you need context behind it. That's why everything's 50% stats, 50% eye test.
Yeah, look, I agree. I do agree. Listen, now we've actually had a full discussion about it. I do get why you're so strong with it. And I feel like in your eyes, and you've already said it, he's clearly the best defender at Chelsea. In your eyes, that we've currently got at the moment.
No, Thiago Silva.
All right, but barring Thiago Silva, I'm talking about the other lot that we got. So he's clearly in your eyes the best of a bad bunch, shall we say, in many ways.
Yes, but I can understand arguments for other defenders as well now because they're all playing well.
The thing that kills me, look, he's playing well at the moment. I was a big, I was disagreeing with Jorginho as well because I was a big advocate against him as well in terms of I think he's too slow with the ball. Like, he doesn't move the ball quick enough. He's very sideways, backwards. He's very predictable in terms of the way he plays and his style of football. The reason I can't criticise him much at the moment is because he's playing well. But he's playing well, I think, personally, because he's playing in a formation that suits him. I think the 3 suits him. And I think Tuchel knows that by playing him in the 3, you actually get the best out of him. Because why? Because, number one, we hold the ball a lot. In this system, we hold the ball a lot. We dominate games.
I get that, position. But we haven't
and that's his strength. We just said that his distribution is strength
for him, though.
Yeah, but his distribution is his strength, isn't it? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, his distribution is his biggest strength. So this style of football that we're playing at the moment is working in his favour. If we go into a back four, do you feel that we would still get the same performances out of him than what we would in a back three in many ways?
I'd be interested to see how he performs for a run of games there. I don't think it's going to be like everyone thinks it's like a Marcos Alonso thing where, yeah, he's great at left wing back, but he's one of the worst in the world if you put him at left back. No. It's not going to be the same thing with Christensen. Will he look a bit more in trouble? Maybe, but same way, I don't see any reason why he can't play in a back two. Obviously, you need to play someone that suits him next to him. Same way like a Thiago Silva, you need a Kurt Zuma next to him to cover for his lack of speed, to be able to do most of the dog work for him as well. You need someone who suits an Andreas Christensen next to him as well. But that's why back twos work. You need two defenders that suit each other. Yeah. So it's a maybe. Like, I can't say no.
Do you think Christensen
will bang out? Because you're right, a back three suits him the most. Like, I will sit there and admit that to you. But it doesn't mean he can't work in a back two.
Okay. Yet to be proven. I'm going to still hold my thoughts.
That's what I'd say. Like, we've seen him in games there. But we've seen, if we're going to judge him based on those games, judge Rudiger and Zuma by those games and say they're all
But then, do you know what, though? And this is where it becomes a bit silly because Zuma, people don't want to see Zuma play now. Because we're playing a back three, but they forget that Zuma's apparently meant to be having his best season this season.
Against Southampton, and look at the turnaround. Suddenly now Kurt Zuma's our worst defender.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
3 months ago, he was potentially our best defender.
Best defender. He was our best defender.
Other than Thiago Silva. The agenda just goes round and round. Now it's Christensen at the top, and now it's Kurt Zuma at the bottom. Guarantee you. Let Christensen have one howler on Sunday, and I guarantee you.
Yeah, but is that Lewis? Is that because we're playing to the because whoever's coming in is playing to the strengths of that individual? Because we know Zuma's good aerially, we know Zuma's not good with his distribution. So in a back four, it makes sense because he doesn't have to always pick the ball, run forward of it, try and make a darting pass or a 30-yard cross ball to the left, for example. Do you think that it's just the style of football or the systems that we're playing that is actually bringing out the best? And this is why people will then go, Zuma's the worst now because we're playing a formation at 3 at the back, which we know Zuma can't play because his distribution crap. Let's throw Christensen in there. Like, it's just like, it drives me mad, bro.
I low-key think a Christensen Silva back two could work. Like, I always said, I understand why Silva and Zuma play together. They match each other better than any matchup would usually work. Because he can cover for a lot of Thiago Silva's deficiencies. I understand that. Always have understood that. Again, it doesn't mean Christensen and Zuma cannot work either. That could easily be just as good. Maybe it would even be better. I don't know. But I would like to see it. But the worst part is I'll say that people just reference the only time they played together and the 3-3 draw against West Brom. And they'll just say, well, that's why it didn't work. Christensen was potentially our best centre-back in that game.
Do you think he will last at Chelsea? Because it seems like the board have definitely picked him. And if you look at what's happened with Tomori, it seems like there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of people that see good in Christensen, that they're giving him, the opportunity to still stay.
In January, what was it? Where we were hearing rumors of players that were going to be leaving. I never heard rumors that Christensen was going. I heard rumors that Zuma might be leaving. Rudiger might be leaving. Tomori might be leaving. Yeah. I never heard anyone say Christensen was leaving. Why is that?
That's a board thing. I'm telling you. I think it's management. I think it's the management. I think it's the board. I think it's because he came through our squads, didn't he? The youngsters and that, didn't he? He came through the reserves and that, didn't he? So, I think they want to see that with him as well. Maybe they do see talent in him. Maybe it's certain individual Chelsea fans like me that ain't seen the best of him yet because maybe he hasn't been given the opportunity to show his best. And we can only remember the past, which for me wasn't great. But then, like you said, it goes back to who was he playing next to and what players did he have around him when he was playing as well? And was it all his fault? Which maybe we could question as well. There's a lot of question marks to it. The one thing I would say for me with him going forward is that he needs to now, more than ever, he needs to cement himself in that team, because if he gets dropped out again and he doesn't find himself getting back into the team, one way or another, he's going to end up going. That might not be the board wanting him to go. That might be him as a player, because he wants to play wanting to go. And there's always that opportunity that may happen, moving forward as well. So for me now, Lewis, it's definitely, tongue-in-cheek time. He needs to literally cement. He's in the team. He needs to cement his position. He needs to show his worth. He needs to keep being consistent. He needs to be doing everything that he's doing at the moment. So
low-key, and I'm going to say it quietly, everyone's looking for your Thiago Silva replacement.
Yeah.
If you want to be really quiet and do the development silently and slowly, maybe he's right in front of us.
That's a big
He's not there yet. Like I've already said, Thiago Silva is levels clear. And even asking him to be Thiago Silva is a lot.
You can't.
You want to talk about someone like, you're talking about Thiago Silva's leadership and him teaching the younger players. This is happening. This could be happening right in front of our eyes. Just saying, imagine what he could do to Mark Gay, Malang Sarr, Tomori. Throw Christensen's name in there. He's still Chelsea youth as well.
Forgot about Malang Sarr, Forgot about that
Malang
guy.
Sarr, like, to be honest, he's really far behind in development. He's not going to be in the team next season. I can near enough guarantee that. But Thiago Silva's been brought in. Half of it is just to get the best out of the players around him and to teach them and make them better defenders because of being next to him. Who's to say what Christensen could be like after a year or two with Thiago Silva being next to him, telling him what to improve on in his game? You never know. Yeah. But if we're talking about the next Thiago Silva, maybe. Let me just say maybe. I won't say too much. I'm not going to start throwing his name with people like that, but maybe.
We'll see, bro. We will see. There's nearly 5 of you in the chat. Please smash the like button as always. We appreciate your support as ever. I am going to bring up I'm going to share a link, a stream with you guys now. I'm going to show you a page on stats for Christensen. We've got my man in the back, Danny boy, who's in the house. How you doing, Dan? You all right?
He's saying, how you doing, John? How you doing, Lewis?
I'm good, bro. What are you saying?
Not bad. We're digging into the whole negatives and the positives. I feel like the negatives have took a lot. Well, it's 40 minutes in, and I feel like the negatives have took longer than what the positives were of him. I mean, it's been a good debate so far. What are your thoughts? Before I bring up what I was going to show everyone, what are your thoughts on Christensen as an individual? Do you think he's good enough to be, to continue staying in this Chelsea team and take us to a potential title, for example? Or do you think he won't be consistent and we may need to get rid of him and look to bringing in someone else? What's your thoughts on him, mate?
I'll try and make it quick in it. I think the thing for me here is that I often compare it to remember back in school, when you had like AQA, you had all these different types of papers that you would take, and basically they would make their the pass mark based on what the previous year did. So if everyone did really well, the next year they'd raise up the level so that they wouldn't have too many people pass again. And if too many people failed, they'd bring it back low and say it was too hard and whatnot. I think the same bar goes for Chelsea fans in terms of what we expect to see from defenders, but we have to change it. We can't use that same logic. I think the mistake that we make is, we need to judge the player in the here and now and what we have, rather than look at the standard of defenders that we've had over time and maintain that same bar. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think the standard and the bar should ever be changed, especially us as Chelsea fans, seeing the success we've had with the defenders that we had. When Gary Cahill came in from Bolton, we didn't say, because he came from Bolton, we expect to see a different type of defender. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He actually raised his game and became a better defender at Chelsea, an accomplished defender, and he went on to win so much. That's why he was a bargain and one of the biggest bargains we've seen in Premier League football. The problem I have with Christensen is I have a thing with defenders where if you make me lose trust in you, you're going to have to do so much for me for you to get it back. Do you know what I'm saying? As a fan. And I think I have no doubts that Christensen's a quality. Let's not forget, after that Man City game that he played during lockdown last season, some people were saying that he's going on to be like the mainstay in that. And then what happens after that? He makes a mistake. He has a poor run of games. And that's the problem for me. When you're inconsistent as a defender, that is the worst thing. That's the worst trait to have. No doubt he's been quality, it's just about maintaining that consistency for me. And I just don't know. Let me say I don't know rather than criticize him. I don't know if he has that in him to remain
Lewis, that's the second Chelsea fan that said consistency is a key. You know, him not being consistent in his performances. I know
I
you see
respect that. No, he made a lot of great points, and I agree with a lot of that.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing you think for Rudiger and Zuma?
Facts. Oh, I'm not.
Yeah,
Bro, they're
I
in the
agree with
same.
everything you
They're,
said.
they're all
Everything
in the
you said,
same bracket.
yeah.
They're all in the same
There's
bracket.
there's no standout.
Yeah,
we haven't
like-
got a standout.
Yeah,
centre back.
we
That's the problem.
Like I
Do you know-
understand that. Like maybe Christensen has to do more for you to fully believe in him. Cool. That
Yeah,
still doesn't
100%.
discount what he's been doing this season either. Like,
Oh, of course.
That's fair stats. Like that's everything.
No, I hear that. What I'm going to do quickly is just bring up something that I want to share with you guys pretty quickly. You know how much I love my stats on GNA TV, guys. So, can you see it? Do I need to zoom in?
No, yeah, that's
to
cool.
see
That's
it.
cool.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, all right, so you can see the numbers. All right. So Christensen, all right, he's had 65 appearances for Chelsea. All right, he's not scored one goal in them 65 games that he's played, which is not the biggest thing in the world, but you expect at least. Look, I remember Christensen he's so bad at corners. I remember smearing him in games where he's had clear headers from about 2 yards out and he's skied them, and I'm like, how has he done that? Like, he's just not set up to score goals. He's not that type of defender. He's not a Zuma, for example, that's aerially strong, can score a header from here and there. Rudiger's the same as well. But we have one more with him, and we've lost 18. But then what interested me even more was goals conceded and clean sheets. So out of the 65 appearances that he's actually been in this team, he's only had 13 clean sheets when he's been starting. Now, we can say that it could be because he was playing next to other individuals in the team that were not at the same level, that were poor. So it wasn't, you can't really look into that too much because that might not just be his fault. Do you know what I mean? It might be the fact that Kepa's in goal, or, he was playing next to someone else or whatever, and it just didn't work. He's conceded 72 goals in the 65 appearances. That is not pretty. I'm sorry. As a defender, that is not a pretty stat, is it?
Nah.
When you look at that, what do you think about that, Lewis? That is terrible, isn't it?
No, that's
It's
terrible. But I also sit back and I try and look back to some of those games, and there were games where we've conceded a lot and he's had stinkers. Cool. I am not going to sit here and say that every game Andreas Christensen played and he was amazing, and that every other game it was because Kepa was in goal or because we had a Rudiger or a Zuma next to him. Nah, he'll shoulder some of the blame for that. I still don't think it takes away from anything I said previously, though. It's just we've had some howler seasons where we conceded a lot of goals. Like that goes the same for anyone.
The next one that I was going to look at is his tackle succession rate, and obviously it's 51%, which is about half of the total of games that he's played where his tackles have. I mean, for a defender, is that not poor? That means that half of his succession tackle. I don't know. Just his tackle success.
I think
so I'm assuming
it's in terms of these stats, though. I think it's important to I don't know if you can bring it up, Jem, right now, or if that's long to do, but it's important to compare it to maybe the better defenders in the league, and let's see what they're at, and then we can.
But this is individualized though, Dan. So I'm assuming if we'll bring up VVD after. Who do you want to bring up next? I won't bring VVD up, but think of a defender that you want me to bring up next. That's
bring up
pretty
Ruben
much
Diaz. Let me see.
I was going to say Ruben Diaz.
Bring up Ruben Diaz.
Let's do Ruben Diaz.
It's just so that I know for sure that the stats are a good indication to whether he's being successful or not. Do you know what I'm saying?
You've got to bear in mind, Ruben Diaz has played less games than. What's his name?
Is this his whole career, or is this just this season?
This is just Premier League. No, this is his whole career. Yeah, so this ain't going to be a fair.
Give me a John Stones.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
A John Stones, yeah? All right, John Stones is a good shout.
John Stones.
He's actually, I would say he's probably as close as you can get to a Christensen, isn't it, when you think about it?
That's what I want.
Yeah. That's true.
All right, let's try and get it up.
Yeah.
John Stones, Prem stats. But he's not had the greatest of careers, though, is he, when you think about it? He got dropped out of the Man City team.
Everton as well. That might
We'll factor that. We'll factor all of that in. See how close it is.
All right. You can't see this yet, can you? I'm just waiting for it to load. Let me just load it. Let's go to stats. All right, cool. There we go. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot more appearances and that as well. Let me just quickly share that with you guys. Okay, so. Oh, shit. There we go. There we go. This is so long doing it from my laptop, not going to lie. Right. So here we go, guys. So let me zoom in a bit. Let's zoom in. So he's had 178 appearances. He scored 4 goals.
I can already see his better.
They've won 104. And he's right. So that he's had 55 clean sheets, right? His goals conceded, but you've got to bear in mind. They've had he's played 178 games.
Tackle success rate already tells me, Christensen needs to be better than what he's got.
Yeah, that's
Christensen's got 51. John Stones has got 74. Then we look at interceptions. What's another big stat there? Interceptions, clearances. What's another big stat for a defender? Jules won.
Jules won. I say Jules won.
Jules won
and lost.
So Christensen's is. I'm just looking at Christensen's now. Christensen's is 707. Jules won, which is not bad when you look at it.
Is that Christensen?
No, sorry,
that's Stones.
No, that was John Stones, isn't it? Sorry, Christensen's
Jules
is
won,
Jules won.
Okay, cool.
Christensen's is Jules 278. How much was his? 700
How much
and something.
How much is lost?
How much is lost?
How much has he lost? Christensen has lost 154 Jules. How many has John Stones lost?
339. So John Stones one is better compared because he's won 707.
Do you know what? Actually, the big one I actually wanted to look at is
that makes it sound like he's been on a lot less duels in general.
Yeah, it does, isn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Just
aerial battles won because Lewis said that he's very good aerially.
Oh yeah.
So
this one I do want to.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at John. So John Stones is 356 aerial battles won. Yeah. Christensen's is 165, and he's lost is 104. So he's won more than he's lost when you look at it like that. And you look at John Stones again, the same. He's won more aerial battles and he's lost again. But you expect defenders to.
A lot of these I'm taking into account how many more games John Stones has taken anyway. But John Stones' numbers still look better in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that because he's just played more games though as well? That's the other thing as well.
No, because I'm not taking it into account, but I'm not taking it like that means absolutely nothing. Like even if you can halve it or something, it still sounds a bit better.
Do you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, on top of that, if you just look at it, it's like even though we're not saying these stats definitively say, oh, Stones is times 10 the defender Christensen is, it does show or indicate that Christensen has a lot of work to do to become a top defender. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think in terms of consistency, because you want to see the best of him in a more consistent way. And I get that as well. Like me, I see what he can offer. And I also think it's really underrated by a lot of the fan base. But I also understand why a lot of the fan base wouldn't just dive deep in because we would have just done that 18 months ago and saw the whole defense dropping howlers.
Is there not a stat? Is there not a stat there that shows what their distribution like is as a defender, as in playing out? I'm trying to find that on there. Have you got passes from it?
What you saying?
Percent. I said I'm trying to look for a stat that shows how good the defender's distribution is. I just think it'd be passes, wouldn't it? So it'd be passes per match, which is there, which don't make no sense really, because that's saying 57.39 and passes 10,000. That don't make no sense to me. So I want it in a percentage more than anything. Yeah, go on, man.
Yeah.
The thing that I point to, again, it comes down to what I think of Christensen. If I cast my mind back to Leicester away, I don't know if you guys remember that game. We drew 2-2. Rudiger scored twice. I went to that game and I came away from that game saying Christensen is the best defender at our club. I said he's the best defender. I said quality in terms of on the ball, in terms of like, and like obviously I'm not part of the people who get onto people who can't go to games, innit? Some people are fortunate enough to go to games, some people can't go to games. But when you go to games, and you guys can appreciate this as well, there's certain things that guys on the TV just don't see. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can see the quality of a player when you actually see it live in the flesh, if that makes sense. And Christensen, like when I saw him, I was like, wow, this is a defender who can play ball. But then it's going from that extreme to he can have a horrid game where you're like thinking, what is wrong with you today? Like, do you know what I'm saying? And you're thinking,
that's the confidence thing. That's why he's a confidence player, and that's where it's a strength and a weakness. That's why I understand that holds him back too. That's why there's still a jury out on him, but it's something he needs to get over.
Lewis, we have that issue with Rudiger and Zuma. Their confidence levels, if they
which is
do
why
one bad thing
the
wrong,
same energy needs to be resolved. So that means all three, in my opinion.
But
like, that's why I agree with what Daniel's saying as well, because it's the same goes for all three, and that I understand. That's just level playing field. The reason why
what I'm trying to get at is
I don't believe it's a level playing field.
Is that not more of an issue than what we think then? That we've got these defenders that are good, they're good defenders, they're not shit defenders. Let's get it right, like you said earlier, Lewis. They're not at a bad level, are they? They are decent in their own ways. But is it not worrying that with the defenders that we've got at our club need to have someone next to them that is pretty much there's no leader out of the three of them. Rudiger's not a leader, Zuma's not a leader, Christensen's not a leader. They need someone to always give them a little rocket up the bum to play well. You know what I mean? Or just say, oh, don't worry, come and get on with it.
Is the least Christensen's like the one that could be most afforded that because he's the youngest. Like he's the one I'd be like the most. He's still the youngest out of the lot, isn't he?
Isn't him and Zuma the same
age? Lack of
age?
Game time that he's had in the squad as well. I wouldn't blame him for not being the leader. Like I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I just think
for Rudiger or Zuma at least. But go on, Daniel.
No worries. When it comes to Rudiger, look. Rudiger for me has the same issues, the same problems, the trust thing. And personally, I just think, look, his time at the club is done, innit? There's certain guys, you just spent too long, innit? And Rudiger isn't getting any better at Chelsea. Like, what we see from Rudiger today is what Rudiger will be, in my opinion, for the rest of his career. And then he'll soon decline. When you look at Zuma, the problems with Zuma, you can clearly see. I think the attacking ability that he's shown this season from corners, that's what we've seen from times gone by from Chelsea defenders, ability to attack corners, ability to defend corners. But it's that inability to play effectively out of the back and on the ball. When Zuma is pressured, oh my days, he's like dominoes. You just literally just tap it there and he's gonna fall over. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. He's not easy on the eye, as they say. Christensen, again, most accomplished on the ball, but has the same deficiencies as Rudiger and Zuma, where they just have bug out moments where they're like what happened? And then you just look at him and think, what happened there? Like, you just needed to clear it out, or you just needed to have a little more strength. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't think we can blame Chelsea for what we have, because we've invested and it hasn't. Remember Man City back in the day? They had Otamendi, Mangala. They spent like John Stones. They spent like that's like 150 million pounds worth of defenders. Literally just 3 of them named there, and they had to keep buying more until they kept buying more and got the partnerships right. That's the only way they got out of that rut of not being able. And now they've fallen upon 2 young centre-backs who can be their centre-backs for God knows how long, with Laporte still sitting on the bench. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Keep cutting out, Dan. Oh, yeah, there you go. He was going cutting in and out, my bro. What Daniel said here, all our centre-backs are limited. That is probably the best word you could use for Chelsea's defenders. They're all limited in some sort of way, in terms of, we know what they're good at, but we also know that there's a lot of bad with them, and we know what to expect from them, like in terms of performance levels, and maybe where the bar is for them. We've never really seen them dip up that bar, and the only way they get from there to there, in my eyes, is consistency. That's the difference, because they might have all the ability in the world as a defender, but if they're gonna lack concentration, if they're gonna, if we're gonna lose games where they're conceding 2 or 3 goals at the back that they should be defending better, they're always going to be held here, and that's the issue you've got at the moment with them. And it is what it is. But people, please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you're new here as well. We're getting close to an hour. I did say I'd release the link into the chat to allow you guys to come in and have a quick say with the panel here. If you've got any questions about the Christensen situation, let us know. Come in. We'll do it for the next sort of 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll sum it all up there. But guys, how are you feeling about going into the game tomorrow, Lewis? Do you think do you feel confident, mate? Do you think we can win it?
We should be going in confident, only because the result against Atletico Madrid. That's to scalp one of the best teams in the world, and regardless of circumstance, Chelsea as players should be going in there thinking we've just beaten Atletico Madrid. We should be able to beat Manchester United. It won't be easy. Yeah. There'll be another team that'll make it really hard for us to try and break them down, but we should be used to these sorts of teams in the system that we have right now. I'm confident in the back three because they've been confident in the last few games. Jovic is going to do what Jovic always does. Only real question is who plays up front, but I think I'm confident we can go there and get a win. Just end this Ole curse right now because he can't get 4 wins on the bounce at Stamford Bridge. Personally, can't allow it.
Yeah.
I hear that. Dan, do you feel the same?
100%. Got to win that game. I mean, it's a must win for me. And it's kind of been all the importance of winning that game, I think, has been lost in the Atletico Madrid win. This is a big game. It's a huge game for us. We're beating Tottenham, beating Atletico now. This is another scout that we need from a big top six side. Just have to win, man. I don't care the combination of players he uses. I just need a win in that game. Do you know?
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. I think it's going to be tight. I've already said it with chest on the terrace that we're going to win 3-1. I still we're going to pipe them, actually. So they're all holding me to that at the moment. So, yeah, I just really want us to beat them, man. Well, because I think for us to get second, I feel like we need to win. You know, be 3 points behind and be close to it. But we'll move on because we've got so many people in the back that want to come in and have this say. We'll start with Charlotte. Charlotte is in the house.
Hello.
How you doing, Charlotte? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. Just to
What's
quickly
happening?
clarify on your point before I go into how I'm feeling about all this. Giroud needs to be starting in this game. Giroud needs to be starting in this game. If Giroud is not starting in this game, we might as well just hand them the win. Abraham is just going to get pushed around, or Maguire could flick him with his pinky finger. Like that literally is all it takes. And as for Werner hasn't been consistent enough for me to actually want him as starting. He's not even worth it. But going on to Christensen, because I know that Lewis is head of the Christensen fan club. I'm pretty sure he created it as well. He's literally his biggest fan. For me, just because so Christensen did have a good game in the Atletico game. I'm not taking that away from him. I just don't know if his consistency is top six anymore, whether he's a top six player anymore. I'm questioning a lot of players about that. I think Jem knows that I have a long ass list of players that I'm ready to get rid of, including Pulisic.
Interesting.
Well, no, but I'm not saying Pulisic because he's not a good player. I'm saying Pulisic based on that he's nearly had an injury for every year of life that he's been born. That's my problem. When this season, how much has Pulisic played compared to how much he's been injured? And that's my problem. It's an injury issue. It's not actually how he plays.
I blame Lampard on that because he should not have overplayed him in the Christmas period, and he just went and played him every single match. That, I was saying, this whole season, I don't want Pulisic to play a lot. I want him to have 30 minutes a week, in my opinion, if that's what we can do. I just want him to stop getting injured, first of all. I still think there's a quality player in there, and you've got every reason to be worried about his injury record. 20 muscular injuries in 4 or 5 years.
21 now.
21 in 5
years. The calf injury makes 21.
Yeah, that's scary. I get that. But that doesn't mean he's not quality.
I'm not saying that. But I need consistency. Especially for the Champions League game and him not being not knowing if he was fit enough for the Champions League. And that's a worry for me. We need him in these big games. And if you're not going to be able there because you're injured, I just don't think that you're good enough.
Charlotte, if I ask you, and trust me, Jem knows this. I'm the king of saying Like availability is your best ability. Do you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? One thing you have to note with Pulisic, and the reason why I'm not totally off his bandwagon is he's been at Chelsea for 2 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Effectively. And in the lockdown form, we saw a player we thought, yeah, this guy is lift off for us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I saw what Pulisic was doing in lockdown, the fan in me got so carried away. I was thinking, this guy next year, the bar is 20 goals for you in all comps. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's how good he was, and that's how I thought he was going to carry on progressing. But you have to remember that as young as he is, he's only been at the club for 2 years. Obviously, this is his third year, and obviously it's been an injury hit. You can't give up on a young talent like him because of injuries. You just have to hope that he grow. You know, some players need to grow, and then the injuries happen less.
No, I
Do you know
get
what I'm
that.
saying?
I get that. But if we're looking at like a couple of injuries per season, like A, is it worth the money? B, are we actually losing money on this? And am I getting any consistency? No. Like this is my problem. Like I'm looking forward because this is what Chelsea should be doing. We should be looking forward. We've got a new manager. We seem to have this excitement and we've been given creativity and we have a tactical manager that I'm very happy with at the minute. And I feel like we shouldn't be like looking and be worrying like the next time like Pulisic plays is if someone tackles him, is that going to cause an injury? Because that's my worry.
Yeah.
Like when Pulisic goes down, my first worry is how long is he going to be out for? Like it's not, oh, he'll get back up. It's how long is he going to be out for?
I think you have to look at Luke Shaw at Man United as the perfect example of what you're saying, isn't it? And Luke Shaw now is in the form of his life, and that's down to
agreed.
And that's down to Man United. What you could say, buying Alex Telles, who was thought to come in and start straight away, and what Luke Shaw in his 5th season is finally getting the run of games and the form that they expected of him. And they bought him when he was like 18, 19. So the same thing for me. Pulisic is
I get people need time. People need time. Like I'm not saying that, but for me, the injury thing is a major worry for me. Like it is like definitely a niggling. But I feel like if we're talking about players we need, I feel like we need a centre back. 100% we need a centre back if we're going to be going to get players.
What's your thoughts on Christensen, Charlotte? What is your thoughts?
I don't even. I'm sorry, Lewis. You're going to hate me in a minute. I don't have time for Christensen. I really don't. Like the man really irritates me. He's just rubbish. He's just rubbish. Like if Christensen was a celebration, he would be the bounty that no one wants. He would be the bounty that no one wants because everyone leaves the bounties. Everyone leaves the bounties.
I think he would be Milky Way, you know, because he splits
man. It's my favorite.
He splits opinion. I think he'd be Milky Way. But that's a funny one still.
Yeah, I just you know what my problem is that he's not consistent. Like I think everyone's jumping to conclusions. He's had like a couple of good, like he played well in Atletico. Cool story. That's your job. Like, what do you want? A chocolate coin medal? I don't know what you want. Like, I genuinely don't. Like, you've turned up in one game and people are like, yeah, Christensen's back. He's supposed to do that. His job is to defend. His job is not to sit there, fail, trip over, like, and not do his job. His job is to turn up and defend. And now he's fine. Now he's finally doing it.
Zuma?
Rudiger's temperamental. Zuma's temperamental. Zuma and Thiago Silva are probably our better partnership. They seem to well work together. Silva seems to kind of calm Zuma down from making rash decisions. Rudiger, I mean, do you know what? When Tuchel started playing him again, I was skeptical because Rudiger, I was Rudiger's fan at the beginning of the time when we signed him, and then I kind of went off him, and then he wasn't played, and then they brought him back.
Wait, you're saying Rudiger was inconsistent?
Yes.
If you rank Rudiger,
he had, but they all are like
Charlotte, rank Rudiger, Zuma, and Christensen in your opinion.
Zuma's last. Christensen's last. Christensen is absolutely at the bottom. He's right at the bottom. Like I would like there's so many players I'd put above him.
I disagree. I think
Anyway,
Rudiger's well.
people, let's let Aaron have his say because I've got so many people in the back. We need to try and speed this up a little bit. Aaron, how you doing, my man? You all right?
Yeah, not too good, man. Are you?
Not bad, bro. Not bad. What is it you'd like to say, my man?
Well, finally back in the studio. Yeah, I think that looking at the whole Christensen situation, I think it's interesting. It's interesting. First of all, Lewis, respect for you for giving me respect to Donny fan, and I think Daniel was right. You know, I think with Christensen, it's all about trusting defenders, and I think that if they've had these poor performances, it is going to take quite a bit of time to get that trust back again. I definitely know from my back line, I know I've lost quite a lot of trust at the minute with Tom Anderson and Joe Wright and Andy Butler. So it's all about regaining that trust again. It's sort of because defenders trust you to keep them clean sheets, and defenders trust you to keep you in games as well. So when he's not playing to the standard, sometimes you lose that trust. And I think sometimes defenders can't even get back from that. But I think that Christensen can be a good defender. I think he's shown during a specific period that he can be a good defender. But I do worry that maybe if they bring in someone like an Upamecano or a Koundé or someone like that, or a David Carmo, the Liverpool rafter, I have an opinion that maybe Christensen may go out the door. Now, maybe that's in a couple of years' time, maybe that's in a year. Maybe Christensen goes out the door. I mean, looking at teams in the Premier League, looking at where they're going at the minute, Christensen could fit in the West Ham back line to guarantee them top four. He could fit in a...
Yeah, mid-table player. Just like
he's a championship
Abraham,
player, Lewis. Just take it on the chin.
Just like Tammy Abraham, he's a mid-table player. Mid-table player.
I mean, West Ham.
Yeah.
I say West Ham because West Ham are in a top four race right now.
West Ham took Jesse Lingard. Look what happened to Jesse Lingard. They took him.
Jesse Lingard turned goals.
Yeah, because he's a mid-table player.
Jesse Zuma and turned them into the next Beckenbauer.
If Christensen goes to West Ham, we've seen Andreas Christendini.
This is the thing I just want. All I want is the same energy. Like Daniel, he made excellent points. Like you want to believe in all three of them, and it needs to take a while for that to happen. That's cool. You can't tell me you don't trust in Christensen because he's had inconsistent performances, but you're willing to forget about Rudiger's 1920 season, which I think was levels worse than anything Christensen.
I do want to believe in Christensen.
If we're going to compare Rudiger to Christensen, Rudiger is better than Christensen right now. Rudiger is better than Christensen. Sorry, I'm not even playing this game.
I'm not even slate Rudiger. I don't want to slate Rudiger because he's actually having a good run of games. But I think Christensen's played better. I'm just going to say it like that.
Do you know what my problem is? Do you know what my problem is?
Because he's had a good run.
Christensen has bad games, but doesn't come back from them. At least Rudiger, when he had a bad game, when he got the own goal, he came back, and the next game he made that off-the-line save and that save to the right of the goal where he literally saved us twice towards the end in the second half. Now, for me, that's trying to redeem yourself. I don't see Christensen doing that. I don't see Christensen doing that. I don't see Christensen being a ballet dancer.
You know what?
I feel like Christensen...
we haven't seen Christensen in that situation yet this season. That's the only
thing. Himself in there.
I still do believe in Christensen. I still believe in him.
The worst one we've seen with Christensen this season was the Aston Villa game. And that one was just everyone throwing him on the bus. To be honest, he should have come off injured. He wouldn't have been out for 2 or 3 weeks as a result if he did. But he still played on. So if you want to say about redeeming yourself, if anything, that's it to me. If you want to say he's not a warrior, if you want to say he's the pussy and shit like that, and played on through the injury.
Before I quickly, Jem, just very, very quickly. The moral of the story here, or the lesson here, is that the best second defender at our club is currently playing for AC Milan. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I'm not even playing. I'm not even playing.
With Andreas Christensen, what I was going to say with Andreas Christensen, it's not that I don't have faith in him. I do have deep down faith that he can turn this around. But the reason why I said West Ham is because not only are they fighting for top 4 right now, especially with Liverpool dropping points, if Chelsea suddenly go on a bad run of form, which I hope doesn't happen for your sake, but you never know with this league, it can happen. If Man U win, it could happen. It could happen after Man U. But I have faith in Christensen. But the reason why I said West Ham is because not only the top 4 race, they've turned players that neither of it and no one would think they would do well. Look at Jesse Lingard. He's turned Lingard into Lingardinho. If Christensen walked into West Ham, he could turn Christensen into Andres Christendini. So that's why I say West Ham. That's why I say West Ham.
Christendini, yeah.
Exactly.
Christendini,
So I think that David Moyes can manage Christensen into a first-team player. And you never know. Chelsea could buy him back if they need him because, let's face it, if he turns into what Lingard's turned to right now, his price tag goes from 35 to 60, and he could be the world-class defender that Chelsea need and a bit of past knowledge from the club to bring them back and help them. So I'm just thinking long-term, but I think in terms of other clubs, Wolves and, Leicester could be other great clubs, but I think Zuma's probably the most likely to go for that 40 million price tag, probably abroad.
Yeah, I hear that, man. And Aaron, thank you, my man. Great. It's first time on here as well, isn't it? First time on
it's great. It's much appreciated because obviously we've been in a bit of a rot. Obviously, Jem, about this result.
No, appreciate it. I've got so many people in the back, man. I've literally got about 6 or 7 people still waiting to come on. So, bro, thank you for coming on. Take care of yourself. Have a good evening, yeah? Take care,
no worries. See you on the terrace.
See you later, mate. Take care. Bye-bye. Right, let's just because there's bare people here. Let's speed this up. So we've got Daniel here. We've got Winter. Let's get Winter Surfer in here as well. Let's get Johnny in here as well. What are you saying, boys? How you doing?
All good.
Good debate. Dan, what do you want to say, Danny boy?
Yeah, bro. Just to reiterate what I said in the chat, right? A lot of defenders are limited. I think with the expectation that every defender needs to have every skill or attribute to be great isn't true. Even Terry was slow. He wasn't fast, right? You have limitations. So for me, for Zuma, for Christensen, for Rudiger, it isn't about that. Their mentality is just, to me, is weak. And I don't trust players who are mentally not there, who are like you were mentioning the Aston Villa game and how people are throwing Christensen under the bus for that game. My gripes with him are from a couple seasons ago and last season, why I don't trust him moving forward. Not from the last 5-6 games when he's been playing very, very well. And the other guy who was talking about Lingard, let's relax. It's 5 games. Why do we let 5 games of good form determine if the player is now back or is now great? It's just 5 games. If at the end of the season he's playing this exact same way, then we can say, okay, he's elevated himself to the second best center back at the club, right? Right now, Zuma, Rudiger, Christensen are on the exact same level. There isn't a clear number 2. It's Thiago and then everybody else. Same level. There's no clear number 2. They're all inconsistent. They all have like mental lapses. We've had center backs who've had limitations. Alex, his passing was terrible. Like I said, Terry was pretty slow. Cahill had limitations too. You had different players. Luis was probably the clearest one, right? He was, but we won a Champions League and we won a league title with all these different players because they were just mentally there. Luis isn't mentally weak. He's weak in other areas, but he will always fight. He will always believe in himself. And I just don't see that in these men, man.
I hear that. And that's one of the things that I agree with you 100%, bro. It's one of the things that I stress out about our defence massively. Winter Surfer, what you saying, my man?
Thanks for having me on. I've got to be fair. I think we as fans don't really care who the player is, just as long as they play well for Chelsea. Remember, everyone at the start of the season bigging up Kurt Zuma as the second coming. He comes in, he scores a few goals, he plays well. He's now out of the team. Now everyone's praising Christensen. Christensen for me is on a good run of form, and I can't deny that. You know, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's on a good run of form. I think he's playing better than Rudiger, in my opinion. Rudiger is somewhat of, he tries to be a leader, but he can't do it. But Christensen, I can't deny, is playing well. I always find him playing better in a back three than a back four. But like with everyone else, he is not who I want to be leading this defense. He's the side chick to the main dish. You know, he's a side piece to Thiago or whoever comes in next. But I can't be a hypocrite and sit here and go, I don't like Christensen when he's been playing well. And what it does is if he's playing well, it helps my team, and that's all I care about. So as long as Christian's playing well for the moment, put him in. I don't care. I don't like Jorginho. You know I don't like Jorginho, Jem.
No, me and you are the same. Me and you have the same opinions on this. I'm the same. Me and you think the same with Christensen, with Jorginho. People think I hate these players. I don't. If they're playing well, I want them to stay in the team. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not the issue. But for me, it's just the thing with me is consistency. I've said it with both of these players, consistency. Yeah. And are they capable to take us to winning a title? Like, can these players get us through a 38-game season and challenge at the highest level? That's the thing that I'm still waiting to see.
I think he's definitely squad worthy, but I can't have him like 20 games in a row. Do you know what I mean? I could have him come in for like 3 or 4 at a time with someone, but at the moment, he's got a lot to do to prove. Rudiger, I've given up on because Rudiger's a sham as a defender. He's an absolute sham. You know, the man he should never play in Sheffield for the rest of his career because he doesn't know how to play football. Then. But Rudiger out for me. If I'm selling one of them, Rudiger goes, not Christensen.
I hear that, bro. I hear that. I feel like there's a lot of more Krusty the Clown outers than there are inner, but I think Johnny might be a Krusty the Clown inner. So he might be backing Lewis here. Johnny, what are you saying?
What are you saying, guys? What are you saying, Jem, Lewis, everyone? Daniel, you calls, yeah?
What are you saying, bro?
Yeah. I'm gonna sort of back Lewis, man. I like AC Hive and all that. I'll be honest. Like I've criticised Christensen, man. I have criticised him. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I've sort of almost wanted to break TVs because of him, like with certain episodes. But to be fair to him, I think when he played at the start of the season, he was in the back four, and he was next to Zuma. I would say rather than Rudiger, and Zuma for me is our worst defender. I think he's got 2 left feet. He can't play up from the back. He's great aerially, but his decision making, Zuma for me, I've always said it, since he had that really bad injury, he's never been the same. So I would ship Zuma out. For me, Christensen, if you try him in a back four next to Thiago Silva, we should see how that works, because we all might be pleasantly surprised with that.
We saw how it worked.
When?
Yeah.
West Brom.
Who was our better defender in that?
But with the West Brom game, was that not Silva's first game?
That was not Christensen's fault. That was
that
no, I'm not saying. I'm not.
I was going to say that.
Do you know what?
That Silva's a fraud because he slipped in that game.
Yeah, man.
No. Look, Johnny.
If we're going to use the West Brom game, let's use the West Brom game to decide everybody.
No,
Lewis.
I can't believe that just came out your mouth.
The point is against them. I'll play
heel turn. He did a heel turn on Silva.
Listen, that was a bad mistake. Like, you can't deny that.
The point is though, like I totally get what you're saying. Even though I disagree with Zuma being our worst defender, because I think when you're talking about the role of a defender, literally, if it's just to defend, you're not talking about distribution and all that. Zuma would be a brilliant defender for 10 years, 10 years ago, where you don't have to pass out and all of that. But my point is, look, when you look at Rudiger, Christensen, and Zuma, let's look at Man City, Man United, Leicester, the top teams anyway this season. Do they necessarily go there and comfortably start week in, week out?
The only player I see playing in a City side would probably be Christensen. Actually,
Christensen would play for City.
yeah, I think
under Guardiola, definitely.
yeah,
Under Guardiola,
he's
definitely.
I
Yes.
can't.
Yes.
I do agree.
No
with
way.
that.
Hold on.
Why would he though?
Hear me out, yeah. Hear
Why?
me out.
No. I'm not
Bacardi's
saying
out.
he's not having it.
Bacardi's
Do
out.
I'm not having
not
this. I'm not having this on here. There's no
Hold
way
on, Jem. Hold on,
Christensen
man.
would get in that Man
Guardiola's
City team
system.
and be winning titles with it.
Listen,
Never.
if you're taking the attributes of each of our Rudiger wouldn't get into City's team. Zuma wouldn't get into
None of our
City's team.
defenders would.
No
None of our
Only
defenders would.
Silva, but if
None of
you're
our
Silva,
defenders-
hold on a minute. But if you have to pick out of the three, Zuma,
None.
Rudiger,
No,
you
one
have
centre
to-
back.
no,
Let him land,
you
let
have
him
one
land, let him
centre back.
land.
hold on, man.
Yeah,
You know
stop.
what I
Let
mean?
him talk. Let him talk.
Right? If you had to pick one, you have to pick one out of those three. You have to pick one. Christensen is the only one out of those three that would get into that team. I'm not saying he's starting every game. I'm just saying because of his attributes, he would get into that team. All right, if you want to go down that route,
because they're all playing centre backs.
yeah,
So
exactly.
if you look at their team, they would only take a Christensen or a Thiago Silva. That's the point he's trying to make. He wouldn't start
Yeah,
for
I get
Manchester
that.
City, but
Yeah.
he would fit into their team
Yeah.
better than a Zuma would, or better than a Rudiger would.
That doesn't make him better,
The
though.
fact-
That
the fact
doesn't
that
make him
we're-
better.
That makes
Yeah,
him
yeah.
The fact
better.
that we're
What are you
even
talking about? Is that
discussing Christensen and Man City in the same sentence is actually stressing me out a little bit.
Daniel
I
brought
feel
it
like
up.
I've aged.
Daniel brought
I
it
feel
up.
like I've
Christensen
just
pulled out against
aged.
Man
No, but
City last
Charlotte,
season,
the reason why I'm saying, and Johnny, the reason why I'm saying that's a nothing statement though is because Christensen out of all our centre backs would suit Barcelona as well. So
Yeah,
it
well,
doesn't
Barca
necessarily.
were after him, innit, Daniel? They were after him. What,
Exactly.
four seasons? All right.
No,
But-
exactly. My
Yeah,
point
yeah.
is, though,
So he's got the minerals, is what I'm saying. He's got the minerals for them to back then for Barca to want him.
This is the thing.
yeah, but
The
Barcelona
way-
also wanted Willian as well.
Oh,
Is
the
Willian
agenda
good
is
as well?
great.
Yeah, but Willian's a baller, man. You know what I
Willian's a
mean?
baller.
Yeah, of course he's a baller,
Lewis,
man. You've got
below.
to show Willian respect, Daniel. Come on, bruv.
Disagree, man. Willian's not a good player.
Again, nobody
He's a-
said he would
What?
start. He
Just to
didn't listen to
clarify,
a word I
Stones
said.
and Diaz. Stones and Diaz together have been getting goals
Look,
left,
I'm not.
right, and
I
centre.
didn't say. I didn't say
Our
Christensen
defence
would
needs
start
to
every
take a
game.
look.
I'm
You
just,
guys
I'm
are
just
saying,
saying.
Johnny, can I back
No,
you
no,
up?
I'm
saying-
not saying. I'm
Wait,
not saying that. I'm
people-
not saying that. But
One
what
at a
I'm
time.
saying is, what I'm saying is,
People. 1 second. What Johnny is saying is that he believes that Christensen is well equipped to walk into that City team more than our other defenders, purely based
Yes,
on
correct.
his strengths in what he's got. So his distribution out of the back, he's very like John Stones, and that's why John
Yeah,
Stones
exactly.
plays, because he likes people that can move the ball well. Would a Zuma get in that team? Would he suit the style of football that Pep plays? Probably not.
No.
So I get what Johnny's saying. I do. In that I agree. But do I think he goes and walks into that team? No. Does he help?
No,
Well,
but
that's
Jam-
a different. That's a
Jam-
different
I don't
argument.
even,
That's a
I
different
don't even
debate.
think he makes. I don't even think he
Jam.
makes it off the bench.
Jam, quickly.
He won't
though,
make it off the bench.
the reason why I don't
Go on,
really
Dan.
like that line of thinking or that line of argument, Johnny, as much as I respect what you're saying, and I even agree that yes, cool, he has the characteristics to fit into City's team if Pep had to pick a player. But the reason why that doesn't make, or I don't agree with that line of thinking, is because I can mention centre backs in the league who are better than Christensen, but wouldn't get into Man City's team based on their characteristics, if that makes sense. Ezri Konsa is an
Not
example.
really. Elaborate, man. Elaborate. on that.
Ezri Konsa is a better centre back than Christensen, but he wouldn't get into. Pep wouldn't even look twice at Ezri Konsa because he isn't that type of centre back. He's not a ball playing centre back. The same goes.
Christensen is really. He's
No,
a
but
ball player.
my point is, if he's not better than players who don't, or if he's not better than players who actually defend, then what is he doing? That's my point.
Okay, but if we're having that, then why isn't Kurt Zuma starting for us right now? But then why isn't Kurt Zuma starting for us right now then?
Because he
If we're
can't,
talking
he
about
can't,
different
Lewis.
types of profiles.
He can't.
He doesn't
You
fit
know what? Yeah,
style
Zuma
of
is not
Exactly,
good enough.
but
He's
Christensen
not
does
good
fit it right now, and Christensen.
And do you know what? Just
see
before
what the
everyone else
complaints are
speaks,
about.
yeah, I want to say Christensen was, if it wasn't for Giroud's wonder goal, all right, him and Mount were man of the match. Christensen had a flawless game that game. He was class, and I don't hear no praise for him.
Exactly, Johnny. Did you see some fans on
some fans on social media were saying that Tomori's performance against a shitty Europa League side was better than Christensen's one versus Atletico.
It was. No, but it actually was. If you watch the game.
Come on now. It's like
against Atletico Madrid.
No,
Do you know what?
wait, hold on.
Do you know
Wait,
what?
hold
Like,
on.
I
No,
feel like-
Charlotte, let me defend myself. My point is, just because you play against better opposition, that doesn't make your level of performance. Bro, let's
You're
It
playing
does.
against
Bro, the
Felix,
Europa League
bro.
was a farmers' league when
Wait.
we were
Hold on. Wait, hold
Let
on.
Dan finish. Let Dan finish. People.
Yeah, I've got to hear
Let
this.
Dan finish.
Hold on, please listen
Go
to
on.
this. I'm not taking
Go on,
anything
Dan.
away from Christensen, and obviously, if you watch the whole stream, we actually gave him a lot of credit for how he played against Atletico Madrid. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that centre backs play well, or centre backs can be hidden when they play in the three at the back. I'm not judging. We've all agreed, and we've all come on so many streams and said we don't believe Tuchel is going to stick with the three at the back. So why are we judging Christensen's level of performance and how well he can play when he's currently performing under this system? David Luiz was a tremendous defender in this style, and that's why it comes down to the main point where we talk about trust. Trust is the root of everything we're talking about. And do you trust Christensen to play in a back two when Tuchel changes his system? I don't know if I trust him to do that, and I need to see it.
Well,
before
we
I
need to
trust
see
him.
it with,
That's my
with
point.
Silva,
He's paired with
especially.
Rudiger.
With Silva, now Silva's a bit more settled. That would be interesting, and also Christian's not carrying no injuries, right? That would be intriguing to see if it works, and if it does work, forget Rudiger and forget Zuma, because they won't get in the side. But in a back three, arguably Christian is more suited to a back three. We've seen that. We've seen how good he is with a back three. But let's see him with Silva, because Silva's a commanding defender. Christensen's not a leader type defender. He does elements in like that, being a leader, but he's not like a Silva who commands the whole defense. Yeah. So let's see how he does in the back three. But I rate. Listen, Christensen's a decent player, man.
But you're saying, like, when I was doing a watch along for the Atletico game, I gave Christensen praise, but I don't get what you want from me. Do you want me to hand him a chocolate coin? No, hold on. He's doing his job.
Yeah, but you put him at the bottom of the list, Charlotte.
No. He's because he hasn't been consistent. None of them have. None of them have been consistent. None of them have been consistent.
If that was
But I gave him
he's
praise.
doing his job, then the whole team is doing
Hold
their
on.
job.
I gave him praise. In the Atletico game on the watch along. But I don't get, like, I'm not gonna make a tweet. I don't tweet about all these players, and I'm just be like, oh yeah, Christensen was great. I don't have time for that. He had a good game, cool story. Let's see some consistency then. If you're gonna have good games, make it consistent and show me that you want to make the team every single time, and show me that all these games are going to turn
how
up the same.
confident were you that Silva wasn't in the
Johnny,
side
1 second.
and Christensen played? How confident was everyone? Because one second.
Can I just say something, people?
Yeah, go on.
I think the biggest issue that we've got with not just Christensen, it's Rudiger, it's Zuma. You can't throw Tomori in there because he's not really been able to play. Forget Thiago Silva, because again, I ain't throwing him in that as well. We're moaning about consistency, but they all haven't been consistent.
Yeah, the whole team.
None of them's actually stepped up. So if like Thiago Silva's injured now, none of them's actually stepped up and actually said, hang on, I'm the new John Terry. I'm going to lead us to the next Premier League title trophy. None of them have. And this is the issue we've got. We're all arguing about the same thing when you actually deep it. Consistency. We want them to all hit a level.
I'd say
You know what I mean?
Christensen has stepped up. He's literally has done
For
that.
the Letty game,
What, for the last couple of
But he's not
games?
been consistent,
I'm not,
though. We're
yeah,
waiting
no,
for
what I'm saying is,
consistency.
you've had a couple of games.
But
You've
they're
had a
big
couple
games,
of games.
Charlotte. They're big games.
Yeah, I'm not
And
saying
tomorrow's a
that.
big game.
I'm not saying that. But if you have a couple of games, big games, you have a good couple of big games, and then let's just I'm hypothetical here, like, just say he's had a couple of the Atletico game, he was good, okay? And then he goes to the Man
He's
United.
excellent.
He goes to the Man United. Just to clarify, me saying a player's good, that's actually high praise from me. Let's just say he goes into the Man U game and absolutely flops. Like, that's not consistency.
Okay, Charlotte.
But see, this is the thing.
That's
This
what
is
I'm
the
saying.
thing.
But I'm not just talking about
Charlotte,
everyone has it. Every
no
defense
offense,
has
no
it.
offense, but the thing here is the constant negative mindset around Christensen. I can't get a ray of positivity out of you on him.
Just to
That's
clarify,
the thing. I'm waiting for a mistake. I can't lie.
I hope he proves me wrong. I want him to prove
But
me
you
wrong.
s-
He did.
Against Atletico, and you just said he did his job.
He had
You
a
just
game
said
of
he
his
did
life
his job.
against
I don't-
Atletico.
If that's the case, the whole team has done their job for 6 games.
Lewis, but Charlotte,
They did their job.
Charlotte, I'm gonna back you. The reason why I agree with Charlotte to an extent is because you need to understand that everything every point we're making against Christensen comes back to the fundamental point of trust. The reason why there's this hypothetical being made, or where there's this belief that we're literally waiting for the mistake after all these good games, is because he's let us down. No. What the debate is about Christensen, because Lewis, I said it before everyone else came on the stream. I said Rudiger is inconsistent. I even said in my opinion, Rudiger's the worst out of all of them. Yeah, and I agree. But the debate is about Christensen. I hate when we have debates about players, and there needs to be a reference point to another player. Let's just analyze the player that we're talking about. And the point with Christensen is that Christensen hasn't, or we as a fan base, and we can agree with that, we as a fan base haven't put all our trust in Christensen, and there's a reason why. Did we have any reason to doubt John Terry? Did we have any reason to doubt Ricardo Carvalho? Did we have any reason to doubt? I'd even say Gary Cahill. I know Daniel in the comments said Daniel was limited. I mean, Cahill was limited, but even in his limitations, bro, he still performed at the highest levels. Do you know what I'm saying? These guys, like,
I will say with John Terry and
well.
Carvalho, you have to take context into both as well.
Yeah,
John Terry started in the team, was grown in, had to become one of the best in the world. Carvalho came in as a Champions League winner, so we already commanded that sort of respect about him.
No,
already.
fair enough.
You know what? If you go on about consistency,
Let's let Daniel go
and
next year, Johnny. After you.
Yeah, after
let
this.
Daniel
Sorry.
go next.
When you say consistency, right? Mount's been the most consistency, and he gets hated on.
Don't get him out, Johnny.
No, I'm just saying. If you want to go,
But you see my point.
No,
You see my point, though.
Yeah,
we're not talking about Mount. We're not talking about Mount.
No. I'm using Mount as an example because he's been consistent throughout the whole season, right? And yet he still gets tarnished for whatever reason.
Johnny loves Mount.
You know what I'm saying? But when we talk about like Rudiger, he's had consistency, but he's been shocking, mate. He's been shocking. I don't want to hear it. Rudiger's terrible. Zuma for me is average, bang average. Christian's got talent. I just think
But see, Johnny, now with this line of thinking, my point is, with what you just said now, that's when the preference comes down to it. You prefer Christensen to Zuma because if you look at Zuma and Christensen's seasons, bro, Zuma has the same run of games, if not more.
Mistakes, Daniel, in them, man.
No, I'm agreeing with you. My point is, as fans, we need to be careful about arguing and trying to present our points as fact when really and truly we're saying we prefer a certain player to another because they're both in the same category. Let's be honest.
No, it's just because I keep hearing consistency. That's why. And you can't base it on that solely. That's all.
Daniel, you can go next.
When we had that 17-game run, right? The one thing you could say about us was our defense was solid, right? And through then, it was Thiago Silva and Zuma. Through that 17 games, we had how many clean sheets in there? Like 10 clean sheets, and we were solid then. So I've seen Zuma perform in the back four. I've seen Christensen perform in the back three. But when you switch it up, when you have a back three, obviously we can see Zuma struggles a little bit, and in the back four, Christensen struggles. So they're both limited. It's not one player isn't far greater than the other player, and we can't take 5 games. Even 5 games or 6 games if he's played really well. Good. Let's give him praise for those 5 games. But I can't change what I've seen for 2 years.
Daniel, bro.
Played well for 4 games, and then for 2 games you're terrible. And then for another 3 games, you're average. And then for 4 games, you're terrible. Like, I can't. The sorry season, last season, there are different seasons where he's had great games and then he dropped. Right now, he's consistent, but he's also consistent because we're playing a certain system. The same way Alonso is great right now. In the back four, he's terrible.
I'd even argue that Alonso isn't even that great right now.
Right? But you prefer him in a back three, and you say, okay, he's a good left back. When you switch to a back four, he then falls from maybe a top 5 wing back in the league to a bottom 20 left back, right? It's just, it goes that far off. So systems also play into a part to why certain players look good or look better. Right now, Jorginho looks really good because of the system we're currently playing. If we
Works
go
for
to
him. That's what I said earlier.
if we go to a 4-4-2 where he has to do a lot more, and we just only have 2 players in there, can he do it still? We don't know, and that's the problem with a lot of different players in our team. We have limited players.
Still
More
think
limited.
Gilmore's got the full pass, man. I've got to say it, bro.
Yeah. We've got Chris here. We've got real Chris here as well. Real Chris, mate. I know you've been very quiet.
Hello?
listening to this. You wanna
No,
talk, mate?
it's all right. It's an interesting
Yeah.
debate fair.
Yeah.
I will say about Danish Maldini.
Oh, get it right. It's Danish Titus Bramble, mate. It's Danish Titus Bramble. Get it right.
I just want to say it for Lewis, you know.
Come on, bro.
He is he is the most talented. He is the most talented. He is the most talented defender out of all 3 of those defenders. I think, he's definitely
Well
the most
done,
talented one.
Chrissy, mate. Well done.
Yeah, but if you gotta get rid of any of those 3, it has to be Rudiger, because I think Zuma's better than Rudiger. He makes less mistakes. He offers more in the air, and Rudiger. Christian offers more onto the ball and passing it out, and he is quite good as well. I do say Christian's pretty good.
Where do you rank him, Chris? What order do you rank him in?
Out of all 3? For me, it's Zuma first, Christian, and then Rudiger. I'd get rid of Rudiger out of the 3 and bring in another centre back.
So I got a question, and I'm going to ask it directly to Lewis because I want him to answer it. You've just heard Chris just say that Christensen is probably the most talented from what he's seen out of the defenders we've got. Yeah, he hasn't, for me, played that many games to actually show us how much the talent. You can see he's got talent, but to that level, to say that he's the best that we've got when he plays, pretty much 5 or 6 games. Like, where are we getting this image that Christensen is a better player than what we've currently got at the moment? Can you answer this? Because I don't know why we've already put Christensen above them all. Like, what has he done to get to that?
Why are we reducing Zuma's level because he's not a ball passing? He's not he has an attribute that most of all of our defenders don't really have. His heading up the ball is the best in the freaking league, and he's a goal threat. And we don't understand how important that is when you have a goal threat. And when you have somebody that good on set.
Daniel, forget that being an attribute. Right? Daniel, forget that being an attribute in general for a defender. I'm even talking about for us in our run. How important Zuma's goals were to even for us to remain unbeaten.
Right.
But that was in Lampard's system.
Dan, what can you answer? What has Christensen done to show us that he's better than defenders? Someone answer that question, please. That's the way
there's nothing. That's why I said they're all in the same category. But I think this is what I'm saying. As fans, we get lost. No, but we get lost in the idea that because a player can pass, he can pass, and it's technically good.
Why is he first to many people? Like,
I think it's because he's technical. He's technical.
This debate shouldn't be who's the best out of these 3. It should be who are we going to sign. That should be the debate.
Jem, I didn't say he's the best out of 3. I said he's the second best, but most talented one out of 3.
Yeah, he's talented.
He's
a ball player. He's a ball player.
Most talented.
So I make the point.
What does talented even mean?
Zuma was
what can I say?
In my opinion. And
yeah,
that's
Lewis,
what
but
we're
is that a good indication?
We're looking out for our centre backs now. That's what we want from our centre backs.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Christensen has improved in the air.
You know what? When you watch Christensen pass,
I get its strength. But Christensen, in my opinion, has the highest ceiling out of all 3 of them. Rudiger, for me, I rate Rudiger. I just don't see him getting any better. All
right, cool. No. Do you know what my problem is? Do you know what my problem is with everything that's going on? Let's look at Thiago Silva, who is the epitome of what we should be defining our centre backs from. Thiago Silva, do we look at his passing abilities first? No, we don't. Thiago Silva is a brilliant passer of the ball. He's excellent technically. He's very, very good at making long balls short. He's got everything. But no, but my point is, the reason why I'm not, remember, Lewis, before everyone came on, I said, they're all in the same category. I'm not putting one above the other. I don't really care about ranking them 3 because I don't think any of them really have the capabilities to be the second centre back to Thiago Silva or to take over from Thiago Silva when he has to leave. But my point is that, fam, with Christensen, when you look, or with Thiago Silva, sorry, when we look at him, we look at his ability to defend. I look at, if you remember the Man United game where we drew 0-0 against at Old Trafford, there's a last-ditch challenge he makes on Cavani that if Cavani Cavani basically scores that. And that's what I want to see in my defenders. It's not about the passing ability, the technical ability.
Yeah, but did you not see the salmon from AC against Barnsley, bro?
Oh,
did you not see
Johnny,
the
Can I ask you something?
Atletico Madrid, Sheffield United, I've seen those sorts of things from him too. So if we're saying we're missing that from his game, I've seen that in him too.
Lewis, you know what I would say, Sorry, Daniel. Before, you know what I'd say, right? Is if why did Tuchel, right? Since Silva's been out, Tuchel's picked Rudiger and Christensen, right? Now, when Silva comes back, what's going to be interesting is does he put Zuma next to Christensen? Next to Thiago Silva, or does he stick with Christensen, who's been well informed? Because I actually can see Christensen playing with Thiago.
Johnny, if he plays Rudiger, what will you say then? Because your point now is about the system.
If he plays Rudiger, that's down to the manager. I mean, like, I can't argue it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to accept that. That's my gaffer. Like, if he chooses Rudiger, he chooses. But I'm just saying it would be interesting if he does stick with Christensen. But why didn't he play Zuma for the Letty game with Rudiger? That's an interesting conversation because he didn't pick Zuma because he needs a ball playing centre back. Rudiger's pretty decent ball playing skills. He's not bad, and he's quite energetic going forward. But Christensen is a better ball player, so he's got two decent ball players. But if you put Zuma next to Rudiger, I don't know. You got a bit of a shit show in my opinion.
That's fair enough, bro.
I hear that. Daniel, you shooting, bro? Did you say?
Yeah, I'm off right now. Literally right now.
Take care,
Bless,
bro.
man.
I got a question.
Go on, mate. See you later.
Oh, you saying to me?
1 second, Chris. There's still nearly 45 of you here. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you're new here. Kazi in the stream. Everyone's screaming for Kazi to come on. There's a free space here for Kazi. He wants to come in.
Yes,
I don't know who he is.
I'm ready for this.
Jem,
Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Jem? Are you sure about that?
We can't.
He's basically got a gender. He's got a gender.
Jem, does that mean you're not doing anything for
Oh,
the
he's
next
in the
4
back.
hours? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, he's in the back. He's in the back. He's in the back.
All
right, Kazi,
You know what? He apologised to me about Mount, so you know what I mean.
I'm just going to make myself a cup of tea. I'll be back. Yeah. So.
All right, Kazi. Wait a sec, people. I've never heard this Kazi guy talk. So me and Lewis are going to be quite intrigued to hear what he's got to say.
No, Lewis
knows
Kazi.
Lewis
I know Kazi.
Yeah, he knows Kazi. You're the only
Go on,
one
real
there.
Chris. What do you want to say before we bring Kazi on?
Yeah, it's just a quick question to everybody. Like, if you go get rid of any centre backs out of those three, who would you get rid of?
Rudiger.
Like
Rudiger.
Yeah.
Rudiger, because he's at his peak of his age. He's at the peak of his age.
Is it just the one I have to get rid of?
Yeah, just one. Yeah, just
Is it
one.
just the one?
Sorry.
Because I'd
Yeah,
rather
sorry.
I mean, I'm quite happy getting rid of all three of them, to be honest.
All right.
Just one shot.
So, man like Kazi is in the house. Here he is. What are we saying, Kazi?
Yeah.
What's this talking about Christensen, man? I want to know about this flamingo Christensen, man.
Here we go.
I've been seeing it long my ass.
Didn't even take 10 seconds.
Explain, bro. Explain. I want to see it. Please.
Let me speak.
There's a lot of people in here. Go on.
Let me speak here. Let me just say like this here. You guys, you toe fetishes for Christensen. All you talk about, when Christensen has a good game, it's Christensen's the man of the match. But when he has a bad game, it's always somebody else that's having a bad game, man.
No, it's not.
No, it's not
is,
actually.
man.
He gets slandered,
That's not
Kazi,
true.
bro. He
Yes,
gets
it is,
slandered,
man.
bro.
Yes, it is. You guys
You
think,
know-
Christensen, Atletico Madrid, yeah. But forget that Rudiger made how many last-ditch tackles did Rudiger stopped Suarez from Suarez through on goal, man. Well, not through a goal, but he was close to the goal when Mendy made that.
And Rudiger also had a good game. So what's your point?
Yeah.
No,
No
but-
one said Rudiger was bad, you know. Exactly.
And second of all, where's this hate for Kurt Zuma? Kurt Zuma had 10 clean sheets to his name, man. 10 clean sheets to his name.
Because who's next to him? Because of who's next to him, Kazi.
Oh my God, man.
What do you mean? Oh my God, it's Thiago
17
Silva,
game
bro.
run, man. And only that, yeah, he played at 2 of the backman system.
17-game run, but that's the exact same teams we beat then that we've beaten now without Thiago Silva and Christensen.
And not only that, he's better in the air as
we've
well.
also beaten Atletico Madrid and Spurs doing it.
He's better in the air, though. You cannot try to tell me.
How many
baller, bro?
How many wins in that 17-game run? How many?
Do you know what, Kazi? What player have you got a toe fetish for? Because I ain't heard any good thing about any player, players, bro. Who's your toe fetish, bro?
Hudson-Odoi.
Hudson-Odoi.
That's my boy. That's my player.
That's not a bad toe.
Hudson-Odoi is my boy, man.
Okay, at least he rates somebody. Cool.
Okay, so
Hudson-Odoi is my boy, man.
I want to say this earlier. People only expect the players they like or the attributes that they like to get better. So with Christensen, is his passing is great. Everything else is going to get better with time if we give it time. But with Zuma is, well, his defending is great, but his passing is never going to get better, and he's not going to.
His 1v1s are so good, man. His recovery is so good.
It doesn't make sense.
Recoveries.
Zuma's been caught out of position and just recovers excellently. That's the good thing. It's like it's a 50-50. It's like N'Golo Kante in the
He's not average. He's not average.
N'Golo Kante is great at winning the ball back, but he could potentially lose the ball more likely than Jorginho and Kovacic.
With distribution.
And the same thing runs in defense as well. That's my thing.
Listen, my problem is when you go around calling average Johnny. You can't be calling him average, man. Johnny,
What,
that's just
Zuma?
Yes, you can't be calling. Yeah,
bruv, he's got 2 left feet. I don't want to hear it.
Oh my God,
he's got 2 left feet, mate. He can't play out the back, man. Have you ever seen him try to play out the back, bro? He goes to the right and he literally boots it out for a throw-in, man.
Yeah,
trying to pass it to like Asby or whoever's on the wing, bro. You can't. All he's good is at headering and bullying defenders. That's it. But he cannot pass the ball out from the back. I don't want to hear it, bro.
Why does all the defenders to be this ball playing, passing like that? It's just bullshit.
Because Silva's the only one doing it. But the way Tuchel wants to play, the way Lampard wanted to play was from out the back. Like everyone else seems to like.
If Tuchel goes back to a back 4, for me, it's Zuma.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
With Silva though, only with Silva. Only with Silva.
But like I said, most of them need Silva. Most of them need another center back that's a dominant.
Well, Villetti, we had Rudiger and Christensen, Daniel.
Right.
So that was a baller performance.
Do you trust Rudiger? You just said a couple minutes ago you don't trust him. You don't trust Rudiger to be that guy.
No, but Rudiger next to Zuma, I do not trust. But Rudiger next to Christensen fills me a bit more confidence, and I've been backed by the Letty game and the Spurs game.
No, but again, you have Aspi there in the back 3. Aspi is
but Aspi's there regardless. He's there regardless, isn't it?
No,
he's our
not.
captain.
In the back 4, he's not there. In the back 4, he's not there. In the back 4, in that run, Aspi wasn't playing.
Yeah, but Lampard didn't play Aspi. He played James. He played James all the time.
So I'm saying
but that was down to management, Daniel. Now we're under Tuchel. We'll talk
Johnny,
Tuchel.
what I'm telling you is this. You're saying the experience of Thiago is what carried Zuma through. The experience of Aspi is what is carrying Christensen and the rest of them through, because Aspi did not play in that 17-game run.
Yeah, but we need
Daniel,
that, bro.
May I make a point about that?
I agree. I'm just saying there's similar levels because they both need that.
I don't think you can really compare that because Christensen has had standout games when he's been in the squad. Has Zuma had any standout games next to Silva? I don't think he has.
No, not like that. Not elite level.
I'm not even the biggest fan of Christensen. Next season, we should be signing a centre back to start next to Silva next season.
Look at the opposition. Zuma scored goals, Daniel. Look at the opposition that he scored, and look at the opposition that Christensen's playing well against. There's levels to that.
Okay, Johnny, let's talk about the clean sheet run, right? So the first game was the United game, right? The 0-0. And then the Sevilla game, 0-0. Both games, Zuma was excellent in. It
wasn't stand out though, was it? It wasn't stand out.
What do you mean stand out? I don't even understand what Christensen's game, how that will stand out. What was stand out about it?
Well, if you look at Zuma was just good in those games. He was
excellent.
Do you know what? Every time Zuma gets the ball, I get anxious. I get like nervous. You know, I don't know if he's going to make the pass or not.
Game?
Huh?
The Spurs game. How was Zuma then? The first,
the first one where he almost
gave it to Celso. The clean sheets. The clean sheets.
Yeah, but that was a 0-0. That was a dead game. I mean,
if Celso had the end product, he would have had an error lead to a goal.
On his end, Zuma did his job because he got a clean sheet.
Yeah, but the way we're playing, we had no progression from the back at all.
That's
We had
not,
no
that's
progression.
not on Zuma.
I think Zuma
Well,
out.
Zuma's-
Boys, we got Hassan here. He's been very quiet as well.
Yeah, sorry,
I know
man.
Carefree Lewis is going to be shooting as well very, very soon. So if he's got any like last words that he wants to say as well, let's let him have his say. Lewis, anything you want to say, my bro?
Yeah, I understand that to a lot of people needs more time before you fully trust him, and I get that. I get that because one thing I will agree on is the quality of centre backs that we have has gone down over the last few years. So we do need to hold them to higher standards. I think Christensen can reach those standards, but I understand why people wouldn't believe it. All I want is just same energy for all three of the centre backs. Believe in them when they play well. Criticise them when they play badly as well. But same energy goes for all three. That includes Christensen, includes Zuma, includes Rudiger. But big up everyone. Thanks for having me on, man.
Bro, thank you for coming on as always, and I'm sure we'll see you again very, very soon for the next debate show, man. As always, you're always
Big
welcome
up,
here,
Lewis.
man.
Bro,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Bro.
Take care, all you man. Have a good night.
See you later, bro.
See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you later, man. Thank you. Bye. Hassan, what would you like to say, my man?
Like I understand what people are saying about Christensen because of the trust issues and what he's been done over the last few years, and I also understand the flaws and the pros that, in my opinion, like he deserves to get back in the squad for what he's done over the last 5 games. Like, like before Tuchel came in, let's be real, we all thought that Rudiger and Christensen were done, and even Alonso. We thought that if they were frozen out, they were going to get sold in January and they would be completely gone. But I think that both, like, I think that in terms of Christensen, I think he's pulled it back and he deserves to be in the Chelsea squad for the next season. And in my opinion, I also think that this debate has been a little bit early because we've also got like hard fixtures now, and the consistency that the people using against him tomorrow against United, against Liverpool, against Everton, that'll be a test for Christensen if he starts. And if he pulls a clean sheet, then I think he might pull his Chelsea career back, and I believe he could progress from there. But I think he might also build up his trust if he does keep clean sheets in the next few games. And yeah, I mean, including the Atletico game, when Thiago Silva was out, I've also seen, like what Johnny said, there was a lot of Chelsea fans said that we might have lost, or we might not get anything out of it, or we might start conceding goals. Christensen came in with Rudiger, and they both pulled a good game, and the whole team, in fact, pulled a good game. And that's all I got to say. But I've also got to say that they didn't expect Christensen to play that well. Maybe make a mistake or two, but he's done well. And I really don't get why people say that he's done the job. They expected him to or they expected the team to lose without Thiago Silva or not do well defensively without Thiago Silva.
Yeah, I hear you, Hassan. Prime's joined us now. He said he's here to back Johnny, which means he's wanting. He said, who can he go up against?
Yes,
probably he wants to go up against Kazi. Kazi's next to you, so he's the one that came in and wanted a little bit of beef with Johnny about Christensen and Zuma, which I actually agree with Kazi to a degree. Actually, to be honest, just saying.
I'm sorry, Jim. We don't see it quite alike tonight, do we?
No, look, do you know what it is with Christensen, right? I will always back my players. Like, if he's playing very well and he continues playing very well, I will back him. But the only thing I look, if we're going to talk about him and his overall performance as a player at Chelsea, and since he's been here in the last 65 games, and I will bring this. I'm going to bring this up again while you're here. Actually, let's do it. Let's quickly show you this quickly. The reason why I'm very highly critical of him as a player is when you look at this sheet, this Premier League stats. So he's played 65 He's had 65 appearances where we've won 32 and we've lost 18. But look how many goals he's conceded in them 60-odd games.
But Jim,
for us. Look,
that's out of
72.
Context. You can't use them stats against
72 goals conceded.
You can't really
No,
use that.
He
That's
not how
we
we have Kepler. We have Kepler.
That's not
Jem,
good
is
enough.
that not collectively?
That's not good
though,
enough.
bro?
I'm
That
sorry,
can't
you're a
be all
defender.
on. It can't be all on Christensen though. Surely, man.
That's
You
in
can't-
65 appearances as a Premier League player for Chelsea. So he's played
Yeah, but when you say
65
goals
games in the
conceded,
Premier
that's as
League,
a back,
starting for
defense,
Chelsea,
Jem.
and 72 goals.
That's
have
as
been
a
conceded
defense,
when
as a
he
whole
starts.
Jem,
defense.
even if
Yeah,
even
50%
if
of
you're looking,
tackles. He's got a 50% tackle succession rate as well,
but
which
Jem,
is not great.
if you're looking at
50%
these, if you're looking
tackle
at these
succession
stats,
rate,
you
not good.
can't use these
Jem,
stats for
ain't having
anyone.
it.
You can't use them for Zuma or Rudiger either. You can't because it's just out of context. You can't really use them.
No, but what I'm saying is there's room for no. Will, what I'm saying is there's room for improvement
Of
for him.
course
Everyone's
there is,
making
yeah.
it sound like Christensen's this great
Exactly,
player
yeah.
that's going to come
I
in
No,
and
agree.
he's
not.
going to be the
He's
new
not
John
complete,
Terry and he's
Jem.
going to be
He's
leading
not.
us into this next.
No.
He's not.
We
He's
need
not
him as a
complete.
centre back.
He's not complete,
for
Jem.
sure.
But
For
how old
sure
is
we need another
Christensen?
centre back.
How old is he?
24.
He's 24.
25.
Listen,
25,
guys.
25.
He's
Mentality
25.
wise,
Hold on,
mentality-wise, he's so weak.
Kaz, hold on.
Mentality-wise,
25 years old. That is not old, mate. That's still young as a centre back.
Mm.
And
25 years old now. Come on, man.
He's got longevity, bro. What are you talking about?
No, it's not. Jem, as a centre back, it's weird. It's one of those positions where as a centre back you don't
care about
develop and hit. You don't hit your prime and or your best until you're like from what 27 to about 32.
32,
yeah.
So that's
You can go
what,
up to
how much is that over?
35.
That's about 5 years. Of your
for me, yeah.
your
For
prime.
me, yeah.
Also for Christensen, you have to keep in mind when's the last time he played consistently? I would say when Conte was here.
Yeah,
That's
right.
about two. That's 2
Right.
seasons ago. 2.5
Right.
seasons ago.
It's how mentally weak he is, man. If he has a bad game, yeah.
No.
It's
Hey,
guaranteed. The next
listen,
2 games.
Wait,
The next 2
wait,
games.
Prime.
Listen.
Wait, who's
Let me
speaking?
land.
Who's speaking? Who's
It's
speaking
Kazi.
to me? Is this Kazi?
It's Kazi,
Listen,
yeah.
Kazi. If you know me, you know I don't necessarily rate Christensen highly either. I think defensively, in terms of his recovery runs, his pace, his physicality, maybe at times his reading of the game is not necessarily the best. However, in order to have a system and have a team that works, you don't necessarily need the best players in the world to play a system. You
Chemistry.
just need
That's true. Yeah,
what
that's
works.
true.
And if Christensen works in the center of a 3, then that is, and also you have to consider the fact that he won't be our first choice centre back in the center of a 3. That'll be Thiago Silva.
Prime,
I'm just saying.
And if he's learning from Thiago Silva, is there many centre backs better to learn from in the world? Right
No.
now?
Kazi, I
It's
need to
mentality,
Kazi.
Wait,
No,
mentality.
Kazi, wait, Kazi. I don't think you can say for Christensen or Zuma, or really even Rudiger maybe either. I don't think they have weak mentality because Zuma's been out on two loans and has come back into the squad. Christensen went out to Mönchengladbach. What was their player of the year and came back and now he's starting again. I don't think you can really question their mentality without knowing them.
I've seen Christensen have a bad game against Sheffield United, then go have a bad game against West Ham. The guy looks so rattled, man.
Yes.
Mistake,
Kazi, I
he looks
get
so
that.
Yeah, but he was carrying injury, Kazi. He was carrying injury, mate.
No, Kazi, listen, I understand that. And listen, what you're saying right now is what I used to say. Well, we've had conversations about this. It's what I used to say. However, what is the context that also applies to that? Did everyone else not also have a bad game? Particularly our defense in those performances?
But you've got to counter
unless you're giving... Wait. Jem, 1 second. Unless you're giving me you can give me clear instances where he actually made an error that led to a goal. Because I can name you instances where Rudiger and Zuma have made errors leading to a goal. Even though Christensen had bad performances per se, I don't think he's really made an error leading to a goal. Not that I can remember.
No,
which
he
is
hasn't.
weird because I don't.
He hasn't. It's down to the collective. It's about the personnel next to him as well. So when you counter in those goals conceded, that's a back 4 issue or back 3 issue. That's not just all on Christensen. Yeah, he might have played those games, but he might have not made those 5 mistakes.
Right,
hang on. To back up Prime.
2 seconds, man.
Christensen
2 seconds.
hasn't been given a run.
Obviously, this.
Thank you.
No, he hasn't. And now he's on a run. He's looking
Can you hear
good,
me?
man.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So this is Rudiger, yeah. This is Rudiger, right? He's had 90 appearances. He's scored 5 goals. We've won 51 games with him. We've lost 20. We've lost 22. So if you look at his goals conceded, they're actually worse than Christensen. He's conceded 86 goals. However, he's played 90. He's had 90 appearances, so he's had more appearances overall. But then you look at his tackle success rate. His tackle success rate is 10% better than Christensen's.
Is that since he's
But
been
that's
at
not
Chelsea?
games.
61%, which shows that he's winning,
Jam,
winning
is
the
that
back
since he's been at
quicker and
Chelsea?
better.
Is
Who
that
is?
since he's been at Is that since
Yeah,
he's been at
since he's
Chelsea
been at
this season?
Yeah, all the games under in
Oh,
the
all
Premier
right.
League.
Well,
under
okay.
Chelsea.
Well, again,
Yeah, and at Chelsea.
even with all those stats, what is context behind them? Because since he's been at Chelsea, he's played in a back three with Conte. He's played in a back two under Sarri. He's played under Frank, where he's had every 2-3 games. He's either playing with Zuma or Christensen or Tomori.
Yeah.
And then at times in that last season, we weirdly switched to a 3, and then we switched back to a 4. And then this season, he only played sparingly under Frank, and then now he's chucked in to play every single game with Tuchel. So what are the stats breakdown individually under those managers?
Exactly.
And you know what, Prime? You know what I was saying, right? Why did Tuchel pick Christensen over Zuma?
I can say Christensen looked.
Verletti. He picked Christensen over Zuma.
Barring
And
a few
there's a
mistakes
reason for that.
Barring a few mistakes under
He
Conte,
rested him.
He's a different type of centre back, man.
You can't play at the back.
Wait, no, listen. No,
Doesn't make
listen,
it better,
listen.
though.
Barring a
Doesn't
few
make it
mistakes
better,
under
though.
Conte, barring a few mistakes under Conte, I can say for the most part, Christensen played quite well, considering the fact he was also much younger. Rudiger, he was good under Conte, brilliant under
He was
Sarri.
shit
in
under
my
Sarri.
opinion.
No, he wasn't. No,
He
we
was
were playing
usually
really
just
well.
brilliant under Sarri.
We were playing well.
Mate, these guys all had a shocking season under Frank Lampard, man. You can't
Yeah,
judge them
exactly.
against Frank Lampard. They all had a shocking
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So
Again,
what-
but under
Jem,
Frank
why are you
Lampard, a
comparing
manager that
stats then?
wasn't.
Yes, you
just
can't
under culture.
either. You know
Some of the
what?
worst defending I've ever seen, man.
Stat
Some of
pads,
the
I
worst
can't
defending.
stand it, man. It's long. Stat pads. Let's go by
Listen,
what we see.
Johnny, let me ask a question right now, Johnny, let me ask a question, yeah. About scored Christensen and his ability, you being a ball playing centre back does not make you better than someone, man.
No,
I'm
but,
sorry.
no,
Ball
but
playing does
Kazi,
not
the
make
way
you better than someone, man.
listen, the way we play, the way we want to play, and the way Tuchel wants to play, you have to be a ball playing centre back, irrespective.
You have to, yes.
Irrespective, and
I'm
he's the
asking
best
you.
out of all of them, except Thiago
Then you're
Silva.
playing to his strengths, Johnny, aren't you? Because you
You're
know
playing
that's
to his
that's
But then
strength.
you got to play
So-
strengths with most.
Yeah, but
If
all
you
of
play
our
to
squad,
Zuma's
Jem.
strengths, you play at a flat four at the
Jem-
back.
Yeah, but
and
Jem,
Zuma, Thiago
all of
Silva
our
and Zuma this
squad,
season played very well.
yeah.
Christensen can't play in a flat back four. You
Yeah,
know
but
that.
with Thiago Silva now settled, let's see if he can play in the back four. But what I want to say is, all of the way we play our system, right? And I said this on Monsters channel, yeah.
So
At
how
the
does
end
that
of the
make you
day,
better than
hold
someone
on,
then?
Kazi. Hold on, Kazi. That what I'm going to say is, if you want to play the system like Pep plays football, right? There's only like 3 players that you can pick out of our side, right? And most of our players they suit different systems, so it's very hard to play the players you want to play because they're good, but they don't fit the system that you want to play. So Tuchel played Christensen with Rudiger against Letty because it was necessary, absolutely necessary to play out from the back. He couldn't play Zuma because Zuma can't play under pressure.
Johnny,
So-
Yeah, but that's not playing to his strengths, though, is it? That's what.
Wait.
So how can you say Christensen?
Because we're not playing to
No,
his
no.
strengths.
No,
That's
but
what I'm trying to get.
what
If you put a guy in a system-
hold on, Kazi. What
One at a time.
Tuchel requires Tuchel requires of a centre back, the strengths that he asked for, I don't believe Zuma has them. I just don't.
Yeah,
think
but so
he's
why
got
is
them.
Zuma shit now? And he needs to be.
It's not- it's not-
you know,
it's not that
treating him
he's
as if he
shit.
needs to be gone. That's what
It's
we're
not
doing.
no, but it's not that he's shit, right? Okay, I respect
doesn't
all
suit the
my players.
system.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Look, he's always never been able to play at the back, and you can't lie.
It's
Jem,
the
yeah?
system, though.
You
It's the
can't.
system, though.
Yeah, but you can't
It's the
lie.
system.
Every time Zuma gets the ball, you're on edge a bit, man. You're worried that
Johnny,
you're going to lose the ball
it's the
or create a
system.
mistake.
But whenever
Come on,
Christensen's on the
even
ball,
Rudiger's got the ball as well.
even when
Yeah,
Christensen,
but Rudiger's not levels, and that's why Christensen's a better centre back.
Rudiger on the ball
that
is
basis.
Rudiger on the ball is better
better than Zuma,
Wasteful.
better than Zuma,
He's
a lot
wasteful.
better,
Zuma.
a lot
Here's the
better.
thing,
Wait,
even
yeah,
last
a lot
season,
better.
even last
That's why he
season when
played
we
against
played,
Letty.
even last season when we played a 3, it always shocked me that Frank would play Zuma in the centre of a 3 rather than Christensen.
Why is he playing him there though? You're not doing him any favors, man. He's not a ball playing centre back. You don't play him in the middle of a three.
Who's not a ball playing centre back?
What's it called? Kurt Zuma. Why are you playing him in the back?
But
in the middle of a back three.
What I just said. I didn't say he shouldn't.
But he can't play in the back.
But listen,
he can't play in
to
the back
show,
three.
to show, yeah, made Kurt Zuma look shit, man. The system is not.
Wait a minute, I'm not having that. Wait a minute.
No, I got this. What's
Let me
also weird
finish.
is
No, but
that
Prime, can I
what's
just
also
say my
weird-
point quickly? Prime, can I just say my point quickly? And
Let
then
me.
you,
I just want
and
to.
then you, I think it's a little bit hypocritical from everyone to, when it's a player that's quote unquote weaker like Christensen and Jorginho, they're system players. But when you got to play to Zuma and Kante strengths and players like them, they're not system players. It's hypocritical.
Jorginho's a system player. He's a specialist
Junior
player.
is a system. He's a specialist though. He is a system player.
Players have to play to.
Let Prime have his
He
point.
is though.
Strengths. That's the whole point of a fucking team. You got to play to their strengths. Not. You can't say that.
No. That's down to the board, Will. That's down to the board. Buying players, right?
Let me say
Buying
this. Let me
players
finish.
because they
Johnny, let me
don't
answer.
because they
Johnny,
don't
let me
have
answer.
any. They don't
Johnny,
have
let me just
any
finish.
stability.
Johnny.
Yeah, wait,
Johnny, let me just
they don't
finish.
have any stability, right? So they just pick by whoever they want, and they get the manager to come in. All right, it's a story Chelsea Football Club. They get the players to come. They get the manager to come in to just manage and mold these players magically, right? But at the end of the day, Tuchel's playing these players right now because they fit his system. But they're not players that you can't say they're all the players that he would actually
Mate,
go
Junior's
out
not
and
here
buy.
for another year, man.
Johnny, I agree with you. I'm trying to defend your point in the sense that everyone's saying that players like Christensen are system players, but then other players that play well in
Jorginho is a system player though.
Okay,
they
is a
are.
system player.
Let's be clear.
Jorginho is a system player.
Let Prime have his point now.
Kazi, let
You
Will
let
land.
Prime have his
Let Will
point.
land. Let Will land.
With Kante, why has Kante not been at his best since probably around 2018? Because he's not been played to his strengths necessarily. You can't just say for one player, oh yeah, they're
But
just,
he is a
they're
system player
shit.
though.
Okay,
We said that though. We said that though.
Kazi, wait.
Kante's a system
But then
player,
you
man.
could say this. Okay, well then that's fair enough. But I'm not having that certain players are system players and certain players that you say are
Listen,
not
Will,
system
that makes no
players.
sense. Johnny, let me finish. No,
Exactly. So
no, it
why is
isn't.
that
No,
an
listen,
insult then?
let me
Why
say
is
something.
that
Let me
an
just
insult
finish. Let me finish. Yeah, system player is when you only fit one sort of style of play, and you can't move around, man. There are certain players who can play as a number, limited. Some players can play in number 10, number 8, or play on the wing and still do a job in there. Jorginho can play in one way, and
That's
he
why
doesn't.
Mount's
And he can change
fantastic.
it, man. That's why Mason
Mount's
Mount
quality.
is a
He's
versatile
adaptable.
player, man. He's adaptable, man.
And we haven't got enough. And we haven't got enough
Jorginho can't
players
adapt for
like
shit.
we haven't got enough players like Mount gives what he gives, right?
No.
And that's why Guardiola's so clever because the players that he actually purchases, right, and he
Look
takes
at
on,
Kevin De Bruyne.
they're all versatile. They can all adapt.
Look
to
at
different
Cancelo.
systems.
man.
That's just how
Well, this is why I didn't want you to speak. This is why I didn't want you to speak because I knew you were going to just change the topic and take it somewhere else.
Could I also
Jorginho is a system player. Jorginho is a system player,
And
man.
besides, you
Jorginho
guys
is a
talk.
system player.
I would like to know Prime's point.
You guys talk about system players. Every player in the world is a system player.
No.
Yeah.
Kazi,
Not every player,
with
but-
all due respect, listen to what someone's saying. Every
Sorry,
player
my
is a
bad.
system player because there are certain systems they play better in than others. For example, if you played Messi in the Burnley team where he'd have to defend for 90 minutes, would he still be playing the same way as if playing in a prime Pep Barcelona team? No. So obviously he suits one system better than another.
Yeah.
But arguably Messi's good enough, Prime.
Jorginho,
Do you know what I mean?
well, maybe he's not, but whatever. Jorginho suits a possession-based system better than he would suit a park the bus where he has to be rugged and running around.
But he'd be shit.
Yeah, okay, fine, but that's my point. Some players suit a system better than others, but it doesn't mean that they're shit. Also, just because you don't like a player and you don't understand or comprehend what they do, doesn't mean they're a bad player.
I don't think our players don't like Adoy. He can play wing back. He can play on the wing, right? Mount can play number 8. He can play deep line. He can play cam, all right? Havertz can play number 8. He can play false 9. They're all versatile positions. But when you look at Jorginho and you'll look at a Christensen, you look at an Alonso and a Chilwell, they can only play certain types of systems.
Well, it's not even yes.
Very rigid.
It's not even only play. It's just the system or formation that they excel in, which is not even necessarily a bad thing. It just means that
Yeah.
They're the sort of players that they're the
Exactly.
sort of players that you have to kind of build and
mold your team around.
And again,
Let's let Daniel
to get the
let
best
Daniel
out,
talk.
yeah, if you have to get
Go.
the best out of certain players, that you have to play them in the back three, or you have to play them in this style for them to even play well. That's what people mean as system players. Prime is right. Every player is a system player. But certain players can play in several systems. They might be their best form in playing. Messi was his best under Pep in Pep's system. Every system after that has been slightly different and has required different traits from him. But he's still Messi. He's still performing.
Let me just say something.
Maybe his best form is under this manager or in this system. But I can't expect my center mid.
Go after, yeah. Let him finish.
Yeah. If my center mid, if we need to play a 4-4-2, I can't trust you. If we need to play any system that requires you to do more than just passing, I can't trust you. That's what people mean by system players. Because if you have to play a 4-4-2, Jorginho cannot play in there.
Wait, when you say a 4-4-2, meaning a double pivot, which is what he's playing in right now.
That's not what he's playing in that right now because he has a lot of protection from the center backs.
Okay, cool. But does that not mean then? Does that not mean that as a I understand that, and that's what I always say about Jorginho. You only play to his strengths. So does that not mean, as a manager, if you're playing him in a system, or you're playing any player in a system that doesn't suit them, they're going to get exposed? No, you're right.
The problem is, listen,
guys. For some reason, Reece James doesn't look that great playing as a wing back. So, and Chilwell doesn't look that great playing as a wing back. So,
let me just say something.
And they get exposed. Like,
right, Kazi, let Kazi go after Prime, and then we're going to finish off because it's nearly 2.5 hours. I'm knackered. I'm knackered after this. Yeah, so God.
And let me just say something. What's it called? For me, Jorginho. Someone like Jorginho, it's not only him playing in one system. Is that if he's on that pitch, he can't be part of a system. He has to be the system, man. You're gonna have to do everything that you can to cover him up, man. You can't ever play him in a 4 at the back, man. Anything that plays him in a 4 at the back, he hinders us at times, man. If you play him in another system, he hinders you, man. You have to play to his strengths only, man. And that takes away from other players, man. That's the problem. That's not a good system. If one system fits another player and takes away from another player.
Against Letty, we're gonna have no choice because he's not gonna play.
Jorginho is too slow. Jorginho slows down a counter-attack, man. Jorginho slows down a counter-attack, and that's not good for Warner, man. Warner is a fast transition player. Warner is a fast transition, man. Jorginho is fast.
Why do you think Jorginho slows the play down? Why do you think
he takes too many touches?
He does that on purpose. It's his fucking job to keep the ball.
Listen,
no.
Will. Oh my God, Will. You're a deep line playmaker and you can't pass. You're deep heavy, you can't pass forward.
You can't play forward.
All right, Will and Johnny, this is
I agree with Kazi,
This conversation is redundant because he's just like Jam. He doesn't actually understand what he does.
I understand it.
I do. He recycles possession.
He recycles just because they don't fit your agenda, Prime. That's all.
He
recycles
possession.
He recycles.
Let me finish.
You said he recycles possession. So in recycling possession, you know that you can't always just boot a ball forward.
No, but when he does play,
you're going to lose it.
He doesn't do it enough, Prime.
When Jorginho does play it forward, like in the Letty game, we saw Kovacic and Jorginho gave a ball away 7 times that overplayed it.
Yeah, they did. You want them to pass the ball forward all the time and lose it? Like
when there's a ball, but when there's a ball going forward and you've got a Doy 1-on-1 with their left back, you want that ball. Of course you do.
I've never seen. Everyone says, "Oh, Jorginho's meant to be." He's meant to be good at everything. People say, "Oh, he should be creating," and people say he should be great defensively. No other midfielder in the league has all them expectations to be good at everything.
Well,
that's a lie. That's a lie.
For some reason, people expect that from Paul Pogba as well. People don't understand that.
Let me say something.
Pogba's got the ability.
You don't see Leicester fans go. You don't see Leicester fans saying, "Oh, Ndidi, he's good defensively, but he should be great. He needs to improve on the ball."
He doesn't even do what he's good at.
Look at Rice.
He doesn't even do what
that's his problem.
Let me say something. Wait, Jem, let me say something. Yeah. When you listen, Jorginho, is that when you see a player making a run, yeah, you look up, you see him making a run, then you look down, decide to pass sideways. It pisses me off, man.
Do you know what, Kazi? Hold on, one sec. You know, Chevy, yeah. You know, hold on, sorry, Prime. You know, Chevy, yeah. Chevy arguably would sit back, he'd just ping the ball around, wouldn't he?
You're expecting Jorginho to beat Xavi?
All the
Oh
time,
my
right?
God.
All right. Yeah, no, but listen, for that type of roller player who literally just keeps the play flowing, right? He always had a pass forward. He could always play that pass forward. He was always technical.
Let me say this.
He had end product. Jorginho doesn't have end product. He can sometimes play.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. You said there's a counter attack on. Someone's making a run.
Yeah, he can't find that player.
Play the ball as opposed to what Xavi does. Okay, but does that not also what's required within that, for example, specific system? Because you're talking about Xavi, and I'm assuming you're talking about Xavi under Barcelona when he played with Pep and Messi and everything.
Yes,
or are you talking about Barcelona? Or are you talking about that? Are you talking about that Xavi when he was playing that dominant Spain team and won 3 European?
But listen, guys.
No, Kazi, shut up, please. I'm not finished. I won 3 international tournaments on the bounce. That phenomenal side, those phenomenal sides.
No, I'm talking about Kazi. I'm talking about Xavi throughout his whole career, Prime.
Johnny, let me finish. Or are you talking about Jorginho, where if there's a pass on, but just because a pass is on doesn't mean the pass is on. If you just play the ball, what if the ball is then lost? You're then countered.
You have to take chances, man.
Hold on, Kazi.
Shut up. You then get countered attack and then concede. And then people like people like would be complaining that Jorginho lost the ball.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense, man.
It does make sense, but you don't get it because there's specific roles and duties of what you have to do, and you don't understand that sort of job because you maybe don't want him properly or you haven't studied it, and that is fine. But
I've watched Jorginho.
Say someone does nothing or you don't understand what
Prime, how long you been talking about?
You can't say that. If you don't understand what they do, then that's fine. Just say that.
Prime.
Guys, let Prime finish first.
Jesus.
Let Prime finish. I can't understand anything you're saying when you like all are shouting now.
Can I just say something as well? We're going to be finishing straight after Prime. After Prime, Daniel goes, Kazi goes, and we're done. Yeah, because it's going to keep going around in circles otherwise. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think Prime is gone. So I think the problem with Jorginho is this: what he does isn't enough for our team. Like, you say what he does. Mikel did the exact same thing. You tackle the ball, you move the ball, you slow it down. But Mikel was also a giant defensively. That was the difference. Defensively, he was very, very good. So it's okay if he's limited in his passing. Jorginho, he has the ball more than anybody in this team. He has the ball more than anybody else. And if you're not willing to even try to make those passes, that is a huge problem.
You can't.
That's fair enough, Daniel, but he gets criticised when he does try. So
let me say this. Let me just say this.
Let
me just say this here. Jorginho, when you talk about a player I get you, he recycles position to keep the ball, yeah. But for you to create chances, every single chance you create, it's a risk, man. That's why teams like Liverpool, what you do, you sit back, you let them create chances, and when they make a mistake, you hit them back on the counter, man. Every single chance that you create, it's gonna be a risk, man. It's a that's the whole point of chances, man. A chance isn't 100% guaranteed you're gonna score it, man. There's a whole, no, let me just finish, yeah. Jorginho, how many times have I seen Jorginho look up forward, yeah? And then compared to Rodrigo's a 6'2" holding defensive midfielder who's better defensively, good in the air. Not only that, have I mentioned how mobile he is, man? He's so way more mobile, man. Jorginho is nowhere near as mobile. Isn't as good defensively. It turns like a fucking spaceship, and it's called a truck. It's called.
That's why run beats in the last 19 times he started. That's why. Yeah.
Question: who did you say is 6'2"?
What's called Rodrigo?
Me.
Okay, Rodrigo. Okay, one, Rodrigo's nowhere near as good as Jorginho. 2, you're talking.
Oh my God, Rodrigo, Man City one.
We always let you finish. We always let you finish. Maybe that's also part of why you don't really understand things. You say every pass or every creative chance is a risk. Yes, you also have to assess your probability of a risk. I'm not gonna play a pass if there's a low probability or a low chance of it actually paying off. That's stupid. Because then the opposition will get the ball, and there's a chance they will counter us and they will score. That's unless you just like end-to-end football, and fair enough. But you don't like or appreciate the nuances of the game, then you shouldn't speak on technical players like Jorginho like that. Sorry.
Spot on.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You're not making sense though. You're not making sense though.
I know why I'm not making sense because you don't understand it, and that's fine.
Jem, finish it up on Jorginho. Finish it up.
Yeah, I'm going to finish it off, right?
Simple runs, man.
We need to finish. Well, we're going to go around in circles. We are going to have a Jorginho debate show, and we can spend another 2 hours on it.
You don't need to. I just put him in a split. You don't need to.
No, it's fine.
You didn't put me in a split for nothing, man. You didn't even explain what I said, man. Come on, man.
You didn't light it, though, Prime. You didn't light it.
Kazi, I reckon 3 weeks ago you were calling Rodri shit. So I'm not believing any bull crap that comes out of your mouth.
Will, boys, stop.
I don't like Will, man. Will,
let Jem speak.
Fine, you would have listened. Now let Jem speak. Let Jem speak now. Quiet all.
I like how this went from Christensen to Jorginho.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Can we save the Jorginho debate? We will have a debate on Jorginho.
Mate. We should have a Billy Gilmore.
Billy Gilmore can't even. And somehow managed to get to go on to blimmin' Jorginho. But anyway, people, please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you're new here. It's been a great stream tonight. We've nearly done 2.5 hours talking about Christensen, the Chelsea defence, the people we think are the defenders we think are better if we need to replace them here and there. If you just joined, please go back and start from the beginning and recap the show. Yeah, man, honestly, appreciate you all coming on, guys. Daniel, Charlotte, Winter Surfer, Hassan, Real Chris, Will, Johnny, Prime, Kazi, it's nice seeing you here, mate. It's good to have someone like you around, actually. So I look forward to seeing you on more debate shows, mate, moving forward. But guys, appreciate everyone. You all. Take care, and we'll see you again all very soon. Peace.
It's like it's playtime and it's free time.